Naruto. Start with 3 Magatama and cultivate Kushina. Chapter 1. Soul of Uchiha. Kushina is scared at the beginning. Open black lens bracket. Learning from the experience and lessons of the previous book, this one should be better written. Close black lens bracket. Inside the Konoha village ninja school. A mixed-haired boy, black with purple hair, from the Uchiha family suddenly woke up from his desk with a start. Uchiha Luyun held his head with his hands and looked in pain, as a flood of unfamiliar memories flooded into his mind. After a while, the two different memories merged with each other. In that little head, the fusion of consciousness and spirit caused some kind of mental change. The vast spiritual power leveraged the blood power in the body, and the next moment Uchiha Luyun's eyes turned scarlet. The first, second, and third black Magatama appeared out of thin air around the pupils. Not far away, a red-haired girl discovered something unusual here. It was lunchtime and they were the only two in the classroom for the time being. Seeing her classmate holding his head in pain, she patted Luyun on the shoulder and asked kindly, "Hey, what's wrong with you?" Uchiha Luyun turned his head suddenly and looked over. The pair of terrifying blood-red eyes instantly frightened the red-haired girl so much that she fell to the ground. As this, hell. All he saw was blood, and combined with his own memory of death, he thought he had arrived in hell. "No, I'm not dead. No, I am indeed dead." Yi Luyun looked at his own little hands and muttered to himself in horror, his bloodshot eyes full of disbelief. This kind of self-talking nervous state scared the red-haired girl next to her so much that she turned pale. "What?" She just screamed, then quickly got up and ran out of the classroom. "This little classmate is crazy, she wants to go find the teacher." Looking at the red-haired girl's back, a familiar name emerged in Yi Luyun's mind. Konoha Village, Ninja School, Uzumaki Kushina, Uchiha Clan. I see. After a brief thought, he gradually understood what was going on. After I died, I actually traveled through time. His soul traveled to the world of Naruto ninja and was reborn in the body of Uchiha Ryun, who had the same name as him. The two conscious spirits, one big and one small, merged together, and Yi Luyun, the big spirit with more than 20 years of memory, took the dominant position. A young body, eyes full of power. Luyun sometimes looked down at his tender body, and sometimes stroked his 3 Magatama Sharingan. The corners of his mouth began to rise gradually, and the expression on his face gradually became excited. My life of mediocrity ends here, and a new life begins. From now on, I am Uchiha Ryun. In just a dozen minutes, Luyun had already accepted the result of death and travel through time. In fact, it is not up to him to accept it or not, he can only say, make the best of it. "Teacher Shoutian, come with me quickly, Luyun is crazy, his eyes are so scary." Kushina hurried over with her Chunin sensei. As soon as they hurriedly stepped into the classroom, they saw Uchiha Luyun doing eye exercises as if nothing had happened. Kushina suddenly felt that something was not right. How come this guy suddenly returned to normal? After thinking for a while, Kushina quickly walked to Luyun's side and pulled his hand down. What are you doing, Kushina?" Luyun opened his eyes and looked at Kushina with a confused look on his face. A pair of big eyes that are bright and lively, how can there be any terrible conjunctivitis? Your eyes weren't like this just now. Kushina was a little dumbfounded. What are you talking about? What happened to my eyes? Your eyes were as red as blood just now, how come they suddenly returned to normal? Kushina asked hurriedly. Ah, is it very red? Maybe it's because I didn't sleep well last night. I was wondering why it was so sore. Look, I'm rubbing my eyes, doing eye exercises to relieve it. Luyun explained with a wry smile. The fact that he has opened the Sharingan cannot be easily exposed, so Kushina has to suffer. Hearing this, Kushina's face froze. She instinctively felt that something was wrong, but Luyun's explanation was reasonable, which made her a little suspicious. But what about those nonsense you just said? You said this place is hell, and then you said you were dead, and then you said you were not dead. Are you crazy because of gain and loss? Kushina spoke hurriedly, and the Chunin teacher who didn't know what was going on looked at Luyun with surprise. Ah, wasn't I taking a nap on the desk just now? I was daydreaming and fell into a daze. I thought I was dead and came to hell. Luyun smiled awkwardly. This explanation is flawless and its consistency makes it irrefutable. So he was confused in his sleep. Kushina, you're making a fuss, aren't you? You two should go and have a rest. Stop being crazy all day long. After scolding the two of them angrily, Teacher Oda left the classroom with a sullen face. Kushina scratched her head and sat back in her seat, her mind lost in self-doubt. No, that's not right. That's not the case. I just saw 3 red eyes. Before Kushina could finish her words, Luyun hurriedly covered her mouth. At this moment, Teacher Oda had not gone far away, and they couldn't let anyone with ulterior motives hear them. Keep your voice down. This damn girl is obviously not easy to fool. When the boy of the opposite sex covered her mouth, a blush suddenly appeared on Kushina's pretty face, and she quickly pulled Luyun's hand away. Tell me clearly, what's going on? Kushina asked curiously. Don't ask, just keep it a secret for me. Luyun didn't want to explain too much. What should I keep a secret for you? Those 3 black beans that look like Magatama. Why should I keep a secret for you? Kushina asked, blinking her beautiful big eyes. You were playing dumb just now, weren't you? You caused me to be scolded by Mr. Oda for no reason, and now you want me to help you. You must be dreaming. I'll explain everything to Mr. Oda later. Kushina threatened with a sneer. No. Auntie, I was wrong. Luyun was so scared that he apologized repeatedly. Are all the elementary school students in the ninja world so smart? Kushina couldn't help but feel amused at Luyun's subconscious address. It's okay if you want me to keep it a secret. Can you tell me what's going on with the eyes first? After a long silence, Luyun sighed helplessly. You've heard of bloodline limit. The Uchiha clan's bloodline limit. At this time, they were in the 5th grade of elementary school, and the knowledge of bloodline limits had already been popularized by the Chunin teacher. You mean, you have awakened your bloodline limit? The Sharingan that is as famous as the Hyuga Byakugan. Kushina widened her eyes in disbelief. At school, she often heard the Hyuga clan and the Uchiha clan arguing about whose eyes were more powerful, so she naturally understood what Luyun was talking about. Hearing this, Luyun did not argue, but smiled faintly and nodded slightly. Chapter 2. First I reward you with a big pussy, then I ask you if you are a slut or not. Bloodline limit. Please let me see it again, I didn't see it carefully just now. Kushina said after swallowing. She was almost frightened to death just now and only took a general look. Now that she has recovered, her curiosity for gossip has been aroused. You've seen all 3 Magatama, but you're still not careful enough. Luyun was speechless. He was about to say something when he saw several elementary school students walking into the classroom together. It's inconvenient with so many people. I'll open it for you when there's a chance. Luyun whispered vaguely, trying to get away with it. Okay, show it to me after school. Hey, stinky tomato, little bastard, what are you two talking about secretly? An elementary school student started cursing for no reason. The stinky tomato refers to Uzumaki Kushina, and the little bastard refers to Uchiha Ryun. Most of the Uchiha clan members have shiny black hair, but Uchiha Ryun has long hair that is black with purple, and is often called, little bastard, by other clan members. And the first people to shout like this were the adults of the Uchiha clan. As they shouted, the children of the Uchiha clan also followed suit and called him little bastard. Because his mother was not a member of the Uchiha clan, but an ordinary, purple-haired villager. The Uchiha clan's bloodline was diluted a little bit, and Luyun's hair was not completely black enough, so he was nicknamed Little Mixed Hair. I'm telling you not to keep looking for trouble, or you'll get beaten and cry and have to look for the teacher again. Kushina glared at the elementary school student. Being hit in the sore spot, the pupil instantly became furious. You bastard stinky tomato, you've been to the teacher a lot, right? And you still have the nerve to criticize me. That's right, it's you who always complain to the teacher, aren't you, a rotten tomato? Another primary school student joined the verbal fight. Kushina, this guy, would beat them up normally, but after beating them up, he would go to the teacher and sue them for bullying. The teachers in the school didn't care who was right or wrong, they just sided with Kushina. The boys got beaten and scolded, and suffered a lot from her. This also led to their endless fight with Kushina, and they would rather be beaten and scolded than not discuss this stinky tomato. Isn't it because you just like to be humiliated for no reason? Either you curse at me or you pull my hair. Kushina said angrily. Who made your hair so red? It's blinding our eyes. Who else should we scold if not you? Ha ha ha, that's right, it's all your fault. Several elementary school students laughed loudly. They would not reason with Kushina, but just acted like scoundrels. Oh, by the way, and the little bastard next to you, both of you have bright hair, no wonder you are sitting together, you are simply a perfect match. As soon as these words were spoken, several people burst into laughter again. In the minds of primary school students, instigating classmates to make pairs was completely a malicious teasing. Kushina's red hair was disliked by the class, and Ryun's mixed hair was considered impure blood by the Uchiha clan, and was also disliked. You bastards, get away from me. You keep buzzing like flies all day long. It's so annoying. Kushina's face turned red with anger and she even shouted out strange catchphrases. If she accumulates a little more anger, she will beat someone up. Luyun sighed softly and sat quietly in the classroom. He didn't provoke anyone, didn't bother anyone, and didn't offend anyone, but someone came to cause trouble for him. What's wrong? Are you unhappy, little bastard? Why are you sighing? That's right. Who would like Rotten Tomatoes' hair color? It's hard for you to match them together. The elementary school student named Sato hadn't finished his words when he saw Ryun lying on the table, his eyes carefully examining Kushina's straight red hair. The hair color is okay, it's cute. Luyun whispered seriously, this was his true words. After these words came out, everyone present was dumbfounded, and even Kushina herself was stunned. What did you say? You said this hair color is okay. And you said Kushina is cute. Sato looked incredulous. He even grabbed a handful of red hair and waved it. Since Kushina was in a daze, she didn't have time to beat him up for a while. She just focused on watching Luyun. They all suspected that they heard wrongly. Yeah, it's really cute, don't you think? Luyun even pointed at the round face with his hand. The red-haired man was very recognizable, and he was also very good at dressing. Luyun couldn't say he was not good-looking. PFF'd ha ha ha. A group of primary school students burst out laughing. At this moment, Kushina's face was redder than a monkey's butt, and it had completely turned into an extra-large red tomato. She buried her head deeply and didn't dare to look at Luyun anymore. She has had a bad temper since she was a child, and coupled with her belligerent personality, every day at school she is either arguing with boys or on the way to a fight. How could any of her peers find her cute? Is the fierce, blood-red pepper cute? Haven't you seen that if the fourth generation looks at others a few more times, they will inevitably be scolded? This is the first time in her life that a boy of the same age has praised her for her good hair and cute looks. And it was a sincere, undisguised, bold and straightforward compliment. At this moment, her heart was filled with unspeakable joy, and her little heart was beating uncontrollably. Girls in the ninja world generally mature early and are already shy at the age of 10. One elementary school student laughed so hard that tears came out of his eyes. He put one hand on Luyun's head and subconsciously scratched his hair. Nima. Calling him, little bastard, several times would be fine, but now you actually dare to touch his hair. It's true that his uncle can tolerate it, but his aunt can't. Luyun stood up angrily, raised his hand and gave him a big slap. With a crisp sound of slap, the laughter stopped abruptly, and the elementary school student's mouth was almost crooked by the slap. The whole person fell directly to the ground. I hate it most when someone pulls my hair. Are you a bitch? Lu Yun clapped his hands with a stern expression. This big bag scared away several students instantly, and the elementary school student on the ground cried out, "Wow. Yes, I hate it the most when someone pulls my hair. Are you guys cheap?" Kushina quickly stood up and helped. It turns out that this little classmate is my soulmate. Kushina was so moved that she almost cried. She had been bullied by these guys for so long, and today she finally found help. Uchiha Luyun, that familiar face, suddenly became a little strange in Kushina's eyes. A sissy, who was originally similar to Minato Namikaze, seemed to have become much more handsome in a trance. Seeing the two men's aggressive momentum, the people led by Sato were so scared that they dared not act rashly. It's hard to fight Kushina alone, and now there's an Uchiha bastard to join in. The few people lost the courage to fight, picked up the crying elementary school student and hurriedly ran out of the classroom. What a bunch of cowards, ha 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 ha. Watching several people fleeing in panic, Kushina couldn't help laughing with her hands on her hips. When she was laughing happily, she saw Luyun looking at her with a strange expression. The smile on Kushina's face suddenly stopped, and the blush that was about to fade away spread to her cheeks again. Chapter 3. The Peeping Devil. Kushina, Minato Namikaze picking up small paper balls. Looking at Kushina, who suddenly turned into a quail, Luyun was stunned for a moment, and then couldn't help laughing. As the lunch break came to an end, more and more students filled the classroom. There are not many students in Luyun's class, with only about 30 people in total. A little yellow-haired boy walked into the classroom. He smiled and nodded at Luyun as he passed by. Luyun discovered that the little yellow-haired boy was not really looking at him, but was really looking at Kushina. Regardless of gender, children in the ninja world generally mature precociously, especially mentally. The fourth Hokage, Minato Namikaze. Luyun smiled at him, but he felt a little uneasy in his heart. The fourth Hokage was indeed very good looking when he was young, almost like a girl. Luyun commented secretly in his heart. He subconsciously ignored his own appearance. In fact, he was also good looking. If he didn't tie up his smooth straight hair, he would look more like a girl than Minato. Okay, students, be quiet and pay attention in class. The first class in the afternoon was an ideological education class. According to Luyun, this was a pure brainwashing class. When teaching ninjas in ninja schools, loyalty is always put first. Brainwashing classes like this are held every day, sometimes more than one. Ninja schools teach a lot of things, including reading, literacy, various ninja knowledge, ideological education, practical combat, and so on. It can be said that in 6 years, the little ninjas have a lot to learn, and their courses are also fully scheduled. Looking at these familiar yet unfamiliar faces in the classroom, my turbulent thoughts gradually calmed down. He didn't listen to the instructor on the stage talking about bullshit loyalty. Instead, he turned his attention inward and checked his own condition. The vast spiritual power activated the blood power in his body. Not only did he awaken the 3 Magatama Sharingan, he also clearly felt that the chakra in his body increased by more than 10 times. Because he doesn't have much chakra, even if it increases tenfold, it is actually only slightly more than that of an ordinary chunin. This was already the maximum energy limit that his body's tendons could bear, because he was still young and his body was relatively weak. With more training and the continued growth of his body, he will be able to carry more chakra. Not to mention that his chakra capacity in the future will be comparable to that of Naruto and Sasuke, but it is definitely more than that of ordinary Uchiha, and his starting point is also higher. Luyun, this guy, is not paying attention in class. He is actually practicing hand seals. Kushina caught a glimpse of her little classmate's hidden movements under the desk out of the corner of her eye. Noticing some strange gazes, Luyun turned his head to look at the little red-haired boy. Seeing Luyun's gaze, Kushina pretended to be calm for a moment, but her body reaction of sitting upright due to stress betrayed her. The first time Luyun did this he ignored her, but the second and third time he peeped he was caught. Lu Yun tore off a small piece of paper, wrote a few words on it and quietly threw it to her. Throwing small notes is one of the common tactics used by primary school students. He had done this many times in his previous life. Now that he is doing it again, he finds it novel. Kushina quickly noticed the paper ball and secretly tore it open. It said, "Why are you spying on me?" Kushina's pretty face blushed slightly. She picked up the pen, wrote a few words and threw it back. "When did I peek at you? Don't talk nonsense." This was the reply from the paper ball. Lu Yun tore off another piece of paper and wrote a line of small words, "Really? No. Then why are you blushing like a bubble teapot?" Seeing these words, Kushina's face turned even redder. "What's it got to do with you? I didn't do it anyway." The ball of paper hit Lu Yun's handsome face directly. "Okay, don't let me catch you. This is the final exchange." They were having a great time here, but Minato Namikaze, who was sitting behind them, was dumbfounded. As soon as the ideological education class was over, all the primary school students ran outside, because the second class was an outdoor class, and there was also a practical test today. While most people had left the classroom, Minato quickly came to their seats and secretly picked up the small paper ball on the ground. When he quietly opened the paper ball and took a look, Minato couldn't help but show a strange look on his face. Why is Kushina peeking at the clouds? What is the bubble teapot? He felt that there was something wrong with these two people. Today's test is about kunai and shuriken throwing. According to your seat numbers, come one by one. On the playground, the Chunin instructor took out a small notebook to record scores. Number 1, Watermelon Taro. The elementary school student whose name was called picked up the kunai in the bucket and threw it directly at the target 20 meters away. The first shot missed the target, which caused a big joke. Ziguataro started the second shot with a red face. Each person must throw a full 6 times, of which 3 are kunai and 3 are shuriken. Ziguataro hit the target 4 times and missed it 2 times, barely reaching the passing line. Such assessment standards are not very strict. Not everyone has the eyesight and throwing skills of the Uchiha family. It's enough to throw kunai and shuriken at the target. No one requires that you must show off this technique like the Uchiha clan. Hey, Lu Yun, this is the test you are best at. You should be able to get full marks, right? Kushina came to Lu Yun and whispered to him. At this moment, candidates can move freely until their numbers and names are called, and there are not many restrictions for outdoor classes. I don't know. I hope I don't fail the test. Lu Yun answered in a low-key manner. He had no desire for full marks. After all, there was no actual reward of a penny. If his performance was too conspicuous, he would be easily targeted by those with ulterior motives. How could that be? You've always done very well in this subject, not to mention that you've awakened and written. Before the stupid girl could finish her words, Lu Yun covered her mouth again. Lu Yun glanced around, then grabbed her fair wrist and pulled her away from the crowd. Kushina blushed and her heart beat fast again after being taken away. She felt that Lu Yun's behavior was too intimate. She wanted to resist, but in the end for some reason she did not let go. Instead, she obediently let Lu Yun lead her. Didn't I tell you to keep it a secret? It would be very troublesome if people knew I had the Sharingan. Lu Yun lowered his voice and whispered a reprimand in her ear. He was whispering in Kushina's ear right next to her, and this scene was caught by someone with ulterior motives. Minato opened his eyes wide in disbelief. He found that from this afternoon, the relationship between Lu Yun and Kushina became very ambiguous. He didn't understand what caused this change. Chapter 4. Are you still looking at me? I have already seen through you. A 10-year-old with a 3 Magatama Sharingan. Throughout the history of the Uchiha clan, no one has ever had such an eye. If this were to be known by others, not only would the entire Uchiha clan be in an uproar, even the entire Konoha would probably be shaken 3 times. The 3 Magatama Sharingan is a standard feature of the Uchiha clan's Jonin. If this were to be known by certain people in power, would he still have a good life in the future? Not to mention those perverts who do research, such as Orochimaru, Danzo and the like, especially that old guy Danzo, even the other people in the Uchiha clan may not wish him well. Isn't it powerful to have a bloodline limit? Why can't you let others know? Kushina tilted her head, very confused. Lu Yun sighed heavily upon hearing this. You are still young and cannot see the darkness of this world. Lu Yun was slightly stunned when he said this. He felt that he shouldn't tell this girl these things, because she simply couldn't understand him now. Anyway, don't mention or tell anyone that I have the Sharingan, if you don't want me to die. Lu Yun deliberately spoke in a serious tone. Ah. Okay. I'll pay attention next time. Seeing that Lu Yun spoke seriously, Kushina didn't dare to take his words lightly for a moment. After making some assurances, she seemed to have thought of something, staring at Lu Yun's big eyes and asking expectantly. Then will you still show me your eyes after school? Give it to you, give it to you. I'll show it to you, but you have to abide by the agreement in the future. Lu Yun looked helpless. It is good. Kushina's face was filled with joy, and she didn't even understand why she was happy. Lu Yun didn't understand either. She just thought that this might be a woman's gossiping heart and the happiness after being satisfied. Number 18, Uzumaki Kushina. Soon, the Chunin instructor called out Kushina's name. Kushina came on the field and achieved a score of 5 out of 1. The 5 hidden weapons that hit the target were all a little far from the center of the target. Her skills in kunai throwing are only average. Kushina, the overall score is 72 points. The examiner gave the specific score. Next one, number 19, Uchiha Ryun. The Chunin instructor read out Ryun's name. It's Lu Yun. This subject is his strong point. Get ready to watch his performance. Come on Lu Yun, get a full score. Many girls came out to cheer him up. He was actually quite popular in the classroom, especially with the ladies. He has a good temper and is good looking. His overall popularity in the class is slightly lower than Minato's, but boys from the Uchiha family are generally popular with girls, so he is much better than Minato in this respect. Lu Yun, Godfather. Kushina waved her pink little fist and cheered for him at the top of her voice. Her voice was the loudest in the class. Lu Yun felt a little funny, took a deep breath and picked up a kunai. At this moment, in his eyes, the target 20 meters away seemed very close and could be hit at any time. After awakening the 3 Magatama, even without opening the Sharingan, his 5 senses and 6 consciousnesses are many times stronger than those of ordinary people, especially his eyesight. At this point, let alone a target 20 meters away, even a target 100 meters away, as long as he wanted, he could easily hit the bull's eye. He casually threw the kunai in his hand, and it hit the target with a swoosh, but it was a little far from the center of the target. The group of primary school students watching the show exclaimed in surprise. This result was indeed a bit unexpected. In the eyes of others, the first strike was of average quality. The second kunai was fired and hit the bull's eye squarely. Good job. Kushina shouted excitedly. This is Lu Yun's true level. He might have been too nervous in the first attack, a girl explained. The third kunai was fired, but it missed the bull's eye, but it was much better than the first one. After throwing 3 kunai, Lu Yun picked up 3 shurikens directly from the bucket. He was too lazy to throw them one by one. With a graceful flick of his hand, 3 shurikens flew out at the same time. Boom boom boom. All 3 shurikens hit the target, but none of them hit the bull's eye. The main point of this move was that it was cool and handsome, and the girls on the playground couldn't help but applaud. He could throw 3 missiles at the same time and still hit the target. This throwing technique was far beyond most of his peers and was worthy of his identity as a member of the Uchiha clan. Uchiha Lu Yun, overall score 90 points. The examiner gave a score. Throwing 3 shurikens at the same time would give a considerable score bonus even if you didn't hit the bull's eye. Lu Yun seemed a little unsatisfied with this result. At this moment, there was another person who was not satisfied with his result, and that was the Chunin instructor who specialized in teaching throwing techniques. This subject is Lu Yun's strong point, and he thinks this boy's score should not be only 90 points. Lu Yun, what's wrong with you? You shouldn't throw the kunai so badly. Lu Yun was slightly stunned when he heard this, but then he scratched his head and gave an explanation. Maybe it's because I didn't sleep well last night. Kushina, who heard this not far away, was stunned. This is the reason again. You always say I didn't sleep well. It is precisely because of this sentence that Kushina is sure that Lu Yun is hiding his abilities. Although she didn't know why he did this, Kushina became even more curious about this little classmate. In just one afternoon, she was attracted to someone without realizing it. Of course, it all started with that sentence. The hair color is okay, very cute. Next is number 23, Minato Namikaze. Before we knew it, it was the turn of the future 4th Hokage. Minato threw out kunai, and each one hit the bullseye exactly. Many people applauded and cheered loudly. Receiving praise from the whole audience, Minato couldn't help but smile like a sun. But when she caught a glimpse of a red-haired figure from the corner of her eye, the corner of her mouth twitched slightly. At this moment, Kushina didn't even seem to look at him. Tell me the truth, did you fail the test on purpose just now? Kushina whispered beside Lu Yun. I don't even know what you're talking about. Isn't 90 points high? You didn't fail the test with 72 points, so how can I fail with 90 points? Lu Yun put his hands in his pockets and deliberately ignored her. Kushina was speechless, and for a moment she felt that what Lu Yun said made sense. No, that's not right. She seemed to have thought of something, and suddenly denied her idea again. The tone and attitude of your first sentence are exactly the same as when you lied to me before. You are playing dumb again. As Kushina said this, she grabbed Lu Yun's collar, with a smug look on her face as if to say, I've seen through you a long time ago. Lu Yun's body trembled, and he looked at the little girl with a smug look on her face in surprise. Why is it that he always gets caught when he plays dumb? Chapter 5. Two people who are controlled by each other, open their eyes and speak nonsense for Lu Yun. Haha, why don't you stop pretending? That surprised little expression has already betrayed you. Kushina couldn't help but burst into laughter. They were chatting animatedly when suddenly the playground erupted into even louder applause and cheers than before. Minato, like Ryun, threw out 3 shurikens at the same time. 2 of them hit the bull's eye, and one was very close to the bull's eye. He became the first and only one in the class to get full marks. A group of elementary school students unconsciously compared him with Lu Yun. They all thought that Minato was much better than Lu Yun, and even the girls thought so. Except Kushina. In fact, Kushina didn't even look at Minato. At this moment, all she could think about was how smart she was. Removing Lu Yun's disguise made her feel very accomplished. From the initial self-doubt to self-denial to the final reveal of one's true colors. She was ranked top in the class in terms of fighting power, but ranked last in terms of brain power. Being able to see through Lu Yun's disguise through clues proves that she is not the stupid woman who only knows how to fight as others say. Winning in terms of brain power can bring more sense of achievement than winning in terms of physical strength. Her brain is praised for being smart, how can Kushina not be proud with such recognition? Normally, her brain would just praise her for her good health and her fighting ability. Her victory in every battle was based on her strength. Now I have won 2 games in terms of brain power. Lu Yun didn't know about Kushina's complicated thoughts, and now it was his turn to start doubting himself. Anyway, this is my score, believe it or not. In the end, Lu Yun curled his lips stubbornly. Even if Kushina could see this, it wouldn't be a big deal. Even if she told others, no one would approve or believe it. And even if it was true, it wouldn't prove anything. 90 and 100 points are both excellent and there is not much difference between them. Alright, I won't expose you in front of others. Kushina waved her hands with a smile. As soon as these words came out, Lu Yun suddenly felt inexplicably unhappy. He didn't have this feeling originally. Soon, as the outdoor class ended, a group of elementary school students returned to the classroom. This is the last class of the day, and it is also the class of their homeroom teacher, Oda. In class, Lu Yun was multitasking, listening to Xiaotian's lecture while quickly making seals with his hands under the desk. In battles between ninjas, the speed of forming hand seals can sometimes affect the final outcome. And if you want to use the 3 Magatama Sharingan to copy ninjutsu, it is best to have fast enough hand speed. After all, every minute and every second on the battlefield may affect the outcome. Kushina would glance at Luyun from time to time, and finally, as if she thought of something, she secretly threw a small ball of paper at him. Minato Namikaze, who was behind, was staring blankly at Kushina's back. He saw that this time it was Kushina who took the initiative. "Hey, can you teach me how to throw?" This was what was written on the paper ball. She felt that Luyun's hidden weapon throwing skills must be very strong. If the other party was willing to teach her, she would definitely get a higher score in the next assessment. When seeing this sentence, Luyun was obviously a little dazed. Kushina felt uneasy and regretted saying this, fearing that Luyun would reject her. She wanted to see the expression on Luyun's face, but was afraid of being caught, so her big eyes were sore from looking around. Luyun looked thoughtful and did not answer for a long time. He stopped making seals with his hands and tapped silently on the desk with his index fingers. Kushina couldn't help but turn her head and look at him. She was impatient and couldn't stand this silence. She urgently needed to know the result, whether the other party agreed or refused. But Luyun remained calm and composed, occasionally looking at her intentionally or unintentionally, but his eyes did not express his wishes. Seeing that he didn't answer for a long time, Kushina thought that he didn't agree with her request, and she couldn't help feeling deeply lost. She originally thought that someone was willing to be friends with her as an outsider, but in the end, they were still distant. She didn't even bother to look at Luyun's reaction, let alone listen to what the head teacher was saying. Just when she was feeling sad and lost, a small ball of paper hit her head accurately. Kushina glanced at someone hurriedly, but her heart began to pound again. She pretended to be calm and waited for a while before picking up the small piece of paper, as if doing so could give her revenge on the other party. In fact, she couldn't wait to see the result on it. Finally, she opened the paper ball with her slightly trembling hands. "You teach me the sealing technique, and I will teach you the throwing technique." This one sentence made Kushina's ears turn red again, and she couldn't suppress the upturned corners of her mouth no matter what. As soon as he saw Kushina's little expression, Luyun instantly knew that his goal had been achieved. The little girl couldn't bear this emotional tug of war. He felt that he had Kushina in his grasp, and in fact, it was true. At this moment, Kushina didn't even notice a major problem, which was how Luyun knew that she knew sealing techniques. In fact, she couldn't say that she understood it, but she did master a lot of the basic knowledge of sealing techniques. She had never used sealing techniques in the ninja school, but Luyun knew that she had knowledge in this area. This was a terrifying question when you thought about it carefully, but Kushina didn't think about it at all now. The cleverness and wisdom she displayed not long ago seemed to be an illusion. Her brain has quietly changed shape. Kushina quickly wrote a word on the paper ball, and then threw it with her pink little hand, deliberately hitting Luyun on the head. Luyun picked up the paper ball with his toes, opened it and saw the word, "Good." Soon, the bell rang and the head teacher Oda announced the end of the last class. All the elementary school students were very happy. Just as Luyun was packing his bag and preparing to go home, Oda called out, "Luyun and Kushina stay." Several elementary school students, led by Sato, grinned evilly. "Teacher Oda, is there anything wrong?" Luyun asked in a low voice with his head lowered. "Did you slap Kamita in the face this afternoon?" Teacher Oda asked with a stern face. Uchiha Luyun is usually a coward, never fighting back or refusing to talk back, so why did he suddenly hit someone? Kamita Kiba was almost slapped out. If he didn't have something urgent to deal with, he would have grabbed Luyun and taken him to his office for a lecture. "Teacher Oda, listen to me. Be quiet. I'm not asking you anything now. Let Luyun talk about it first." Oda glared at Kushina and interrupted her. "He called me a little bastard and pulled my hair." Luyun answered truthfully. "Is that so?" Oda looked at Kamita. "I just touched it lightly." Kamita explained hurriedly. Both sides held their own opinions, and Oda turned his gaze to Kushina again and signaled that she could speak. Kamita pulled it, and he pulled it very hard. I saw it with my own eyes. Kushina answered in a very affirmative tone. In fact, she didn't see anything. She just lowered her head and was shy. How could she know whether Kamita pulled her hair? She only knew about it after Luyun told her, but this doesn't affect her stance. Telling lies with open eyes can disgust these bad guys and protect my little classmate at the same time, so why not do it? Kushina Chapter 6. You can and #039. T just kill them, right? Violent blood red peppers. I didn't. You're talking nonsense. Kamita's face turned red and he was so angry that tears almost fell. Stop pretending to be pitiful. It was you and Sato who deliberately made trouble during lunch break. You started by scolding me and Luyun. Now you still have the nerve to pretend to be innocent. You are shameless. Kushina would not spoil this little turtle boy. As soon as these words were spoken, several parties involved lowered their heads subconsciously. When the class teacher Oda saw this, he immediately knew that Kushina was not lying. It was these little bastards who caused trouble again. You guys go home and write me a 200-word self-review and hand it in to me tomorrow. If I am still not satisfied with your review, you have to keep writing until I am satisfied. Oda gave out punishments and then told those troublemakers to get out. Kushina, you should go back too. Oh. Kushina responded, but she was hesitant. She wanted to wait for Luyun. Luyun, even though they were wrong, you hit him too hard. One of Kamita's teeth was loosened. I'll keep you in the class this afternoon and take over Kamita's duty of cleaning the classroom. The homeroom teacher, Oda, gave the punishment. Ha ha ha, you deserve it. The few troublemakers who were hiding outside and eavesdropping looked gloating and couldn't help but laugh out loud. You little bastards. Oda became furious and chased after them. Several elementary school students were so scared that they ran away in a hurry. Luyun felt that Xiaotian's mild punishment was reasonable and fair from an adult's perspective. But if you look at this from a child's perspective, this punishment is very unfair. Especially Kushina, she was so angry that her teeth were itching and she kept cursing those elementary school students. After venting her anger, Kushina picked up the broom and helped Luyun clean the classroom. In her opinion, the two of them were good comrades who shared the same suffering. Hey, Luyun, aren't you angry? Seeing that Luyun was working quietly, Kushina couldn't help but ask out of curiosity. Why am I angry? Luyun asked without raising his head. Those bastards. They were the ones who started the fight first, and you were just passively fighting back, but Mr. Oda still punished you like this. Kushina clenched her pink little fists, looking indignant. Luyun looked up at her and smiled. That beautiful smile made Kushina obviously dazed, and her anger also disappeared for the most part. Your teeth are almost popping out, what else do you want? You can't just kill that guy, can you? Luyun said it lightly, but it sounded shocking and powerful to Kushina's ears. That's right, we can't just kill them, right? They are evil, but their crimes don't deserve the death penalty. You're right. But you should use more force next time. It's better to knock the teeth out. Then those guys won't dare to bother you again. After figuring this out, Kushina felt better. Luyun remained silent about this. You, a bloody pepper, beat people up every day, but no one avoids you. What? Luyun suddenly discovered something strange and couldn't help but let out a light exclamation. What happened? Kushina asked, wiping the sweat from her forehead. How come all the little pieces of paper on the floor are gone? I remember leaving them under the seat, how come they are gone? Even the scraps of paper I tore off earlier are gone. Hearing this, Kushina immediately returned to her seat. He lowered his head to check and found that the small piece of paper he had thrown away was gone. Oh, that's right, the little ball of paper under my desk is gone too. There's not a single piece of paper left, it's cleaner than if a dog had licked it. Kushina was also a little surprised. But then she was too lazy to think about it anymore. It must have been carried away by the wind. Lu Yun nodded and was too lazy to think about this little thing. This damn weather is so hot. After working hard for a while, Kushina was covered in sweat and her pretty face was flushed. Lu Yun nodded, and then tore off the white cloth that had been wrapped around his forehead for years. The original kid was really something. No matter whether it was cold or hot, he was always wrapped in several layers of white cloth. When he was a child, in addition to being laughed at for his messy hair, he was also often ridiculed by his peers for having a wide forehead. Lu Yun didn't care about what others thought. He tore off the white cloth and threw it away, along with the headband that tied his hair very tightly and made him feel extremely uncomfortable. A head of smooth long hair fell directly on her shoulders. At this moment, he looked exactly like a girl, so much so that even Kushina was stunned. The broad forehead, black eyes, and long straight hair, every one of them strongly appealed to Kushina's aesthetic taste. At this time, her aesthetic views are basically consistent with Naruto's aesthetic views when he was a child. How badly is little Naruto fascinated by the wide-foreheaded Sakura? Kushina seems to be almost the same. Because once she set her eyes on it, she couldn't look away anymore. She even subconsciously took several steps closer just to see it more clearly. "Why are you looking at me like that?" Lu Yun asked puzzledly. But the next moment he lowered his head slightly and asked with a smile. "Do you also think a wide forehead is ugly?" This feeling of inferiority comes from the original body. "No, that's not the case." Kushina waved her hands and explained hurriedly. "Your forehead is very beautiful, your hair is very beautiful, and your eyes are." She spoke softer and softer, until finally Lu Yun couldn't even hear her voice. "Thanks." Although he couldn't hear the last two sentences clearly, he heard that the forehead was beautiful. "You are welcome." Kushina's voice was still as thin as a mosquito's hum, and her cheeks were frighteningly red. "Why is your face so red? Is it too hot?" Looking at the big, red face so close to him, Lu Yun couldn't help but touch it. "Hiss, it's so hot." "Ah!" Kushina screamed, and then pushed him to the ground. "It's so embarrassing." Kushina was about to run away when she heard Lu Yun scream. After taking a closer look, he realized that he had pushed too hard, and Lu Yun fell down and hit his head on the chair. Hiss. Lu Yun covered the back of his head and took a deep breath. "I reached out and touched it, but there was no bleeding, but it really hurt. Fortunately, I have a strong head. Are you okay?" Kushina didn't care about being shy anymore. She hurriedly helped her little classmate up from the ground. "You are too violent. Who told you to touch me?" Kushina laughed awkwardly and even shouted out strange catchphrases. "I just touched it. Why do you have such a big reaction?" Lu Yun glared at her. Kushina lowered her head unconsciously, pretending to admit her mistake. But after a while, he seemed to have thought of something, raised his head and retorted, "Don't you know that girls are thin-skinned? How can you touch a girl's face casually? I saw that you were blushing unnaturally, and I thought you were uncomfortable, so I started to do it. Also, you know you're a girl. How come you didn't know you were a girl when you were beating someone up? I want you to take care of it." Kushina pushed him away, and Lu Yun's waist hit the corner of the table hard. "Ah!" Another scream with a breath in his mouth. "Oops. I'm sorry, I'm sorry." Kushina panicked after another accidental injury. You don't touch me, stay away from me." Chapter 7-3 Jade Sharingan in the Sunset, a mother in #039's child is like a treasure. I'm sorry, it's my fault." Kushina apologized repeatedly and grabbed Lu Yun's arm and tried to pull him up. "Don't. Let me slow down, please." Lu Yun covered his lower back and begged for mercy. Okay. All right." Kushina let go with an awkward smile. "Can't you be a little gentler? You just accused me of being too physical, but what about you?" Lu Yun complained while rubbing his waist. "I was wrong." Kushina apologized with her head down. "How about I rub it for you?" "No, please. I still want this waist." Lu Yun rolled his eyes at her. After almost recovering, Lu Yun slowly stood up and brushed the dust off his butt. "I'm almost done cleaning, it's time to go home." It was almost dusk and the ninja school would be closed if we didn't leave now. Oh. Kushina nodded in response. Luyun walked in front and Kushina followed obediently behind. When Luyun was about to walk out of the classroom, Kushina finally couldn't help but call out to him. Luyun, didn't you say you would check my eyes after school? There's no one here right now. Kushina looked at him expectantly, or to be more precise, looked into his eyes. Luyun himself had forgotten about this matter. He glanced outside the classroom to make sure most of the elementary school students had left. Fine. As Luyun spoke, chakra gathered in his eyeballs, and a pair of blood-red eyes immediately appeared. At this moment, he was facing the setting sun and looking directly at Kushina. The bright light fell on him, looking holy and dazzling. Kushina was dazzled by the sunlight, making it difficult for her to see Luyun's face clearly. When she rubbed her eyes and looked again, she saw a pair of enchanting 3 Magatama Sharingan, shining brightly and dazzlingly against the backdrop of the setting sun. These eyes are enchanting but not coquettish, breathtakingly beautiful, so beautiful that it makes people lose their minds. They can be called the most perfect works of art in the world. There was once a guy who regarded explosion as art. When he first saw the 3 Magatama Sharingan under the setting sun, he almost became obsessed with it and his faith was shaken. At that time, he believed that the Sharingan was the true art, and that such eyes were more beautiful than blooming fireworks. Kushina was also fascinated at this moment. Her whole soul seemed to be completely lost in it. There was nothing else in her eyes except these eyes. Once this pair of 3 Magatama Sharingan is opened, even the brightest sunlight will be eclipsed and cannot compete with it. Luyun didn't use any illusion on her, but at this moment, Kushina seemed to be in the strongest illusion. My mind is full of these enchanting eyes and this charming face. She subconsciously stretched out her hand and touched the fair and pretty face that was so close to her. Luyun let the warm hand touch his cheek and eye sockets. But looking at Kushina's confused eyes, he blushed for once and subconsciously looked away. As the ruby-like eyes moved their gaze downward, Kushina suddenly woke up, quickly retracted her hand as if she had been electrocuted, and hurriedly ran out of the classroom. Luyun looked at her back and closed his Sharingan. He didn't chase after her, but sighed and locked the classroom door. Walking on the way home, Luyun seemed to be in a particularly happy mood. He felt that the wind around him was sweet, and his pace subconsciously quickened a bit. It's a happy feeling of being home. When he turned a corner, he suddenly saw a figure that was both familiar and a little strange. She was a beautiful young woman with purple hair and an exceptional appearance. She was standing at the door of her house, silently waiting for him to return. Luyun lowered his head, feeling very nervous for some reason, and beads of sweat appeared on his forehead. You still know how to go home. Where have you been having fun until now? The beautiful woman scolded him, but there was no anger on her face. Instead, there was a faint smile. Luyun called out, "Mom," without any sense of incongruity, as if this was his mother, Asuka. Where's the headband? Asuka looked at him strangely. The weather is too hot and the headband got torn off. Luyun stood there awkwardly, with his head lowered and not daring to look up. Aren't you afraid of people saying you have a wide forehead? Asuka couldn't help laughing out loud when she said this. Luyun heard the noise, looked up at her, and his tense mood inexplicably relaxed. Don't worry, I won't bother you anymore. Oh, when did our Luyun become so bold? Asuka smiled and touched his head. Today a girl praised my beautiful forehead. Luyun blurted out, and he was a little stunned when he said this. In front of his biological mother, he obviously became childish. This is the original body's thoughts causing trouble. Even if I want to control it, I can't. Ha 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 ha. I was wondering why you didn't wear a headband, turns out a girl complimented you on your beautiful forehead. Ha ha. Asuka laughed so hard that tears almost came out. After a burst of laughter, Asuka rubbed his hair and spoke seriously. Our Luyun is already very good looking, it's only a matter of time before a girl compliments you. She never thinks that her children are inferior to others in any way, and she has absolute confidence in their appearance. She noticed Lu Yun's slight inferiority complex because of his forehead, but she didn't think it was a big deal. When children grow up, they will naturally understand what is beautiful and ugly, and there is no need to teach them. Moreover, Lu Yun himself is very popular with women, and not letting him wear a headband may make him more popular with girls. It would be bad if he accidentally develops misogyny. Misogyny refer to Sasuke or premature love. Go wash your hands and face, then eat. Lu Yun nodded and left quickly. After taking a quick cold shower, when he came out, Asuka was already kneeling at the dining table, and the meal had been served to him. They were the only orphans and their widowed mother in the family. His father had died heroically in the war 2 years ago. He is a chunin with double Magatama Sharingan, named Uchiha Mori. Let's eat, the food is getting cold. Asuka said while eating. Yi Lu Yun was an orphan in his previous life, and now he has a mother, which feels pretty good. Where did you go this afternoon? You came home so late. Mom was so worried about you. I was on duty to clean the classroom in the afternoon, so I was a little late. Lu Yun explained after swallowing a mouthful of food. Didn't you just take charge not long ago? Why is it your turn again? Asuka looked suspicious. This mother is not easy to fool, she is very thoughtful. I made a mistake, and the teacher punished me to do duty. Lu Yun thought about it and decided to confess. After all, it was just a small matter. Made a mistake. What mistake? Asuka even suspected that she had heard it wrongly. Hit someone. Not get hit. I hit someone. Lu Yun's mouth twitched slightly and he repeated it again. You dare to hit someone. Asuka raised her eyebrows, looking very surprised. How did you fight? Tell Mom. When these words came out, Lu Yun was visibly stunned. Logically speaking, shouldn't you first ask why your son hit someone? Why is the mother curious about how her son hit someone? Chapter 8. If you don and Hasho 39, work hard when you are young, you will enter the Pure Land and become B. I just slapped my classmate. He was the one who provoked me first. Just a slap. Didn't Shoutian know that he was messing with you? And he punished you to clean the classroom. Asuka's cheeks were puffy, and she didn't know if it was because she was angry or because she stuffed too much food in her mouth. But you have become braver, and that really impresses Mom. At this moment, Asuka actually looked a little proud. Lu Yun was a little confused. With such a mother, why did the original body always look so timid? Ultimately it might be because of his father, Uchiha Mamoru. In his memory, his father had a very good personality, was kind to others and did not fight with others. After dinner, Lu Yun started exercising in his own small courtyard. Asuka was amazed by the way he worked hard, doing push-ups, stand-ups, and pounding wooden stakes and sweating. Son, why have you suddenly become so diligent? My son rarely takes the initiative to exercise, not to mention that it is already evening. Lu Yun likes to hide in his room and read comics every night. He goes to sleep when he gets tired and rarely comes out. Why do you suddenly seem like a different person today? Lu Yun stopped what he was doing after hearing that. He doesn't want to work hard, but he has to work hard. You have to know that this is the ninja world. The second Ninja World War hasn't really started yet, and there will be the third and fourth Ninja World Wars to come. As a ninja, if he has no strength, how many disasters can he withstand? He is neither the protagonist nor an important supporting role. The Nine Tails Rebellion, Uchiha Itachi's slaughter of the clan, Pain's invasion, and various ninja missions, there is always one that can kill him. He didn't want to die young just a few years after his soul traveled through time, and he didn't want to follow in his father Sheng's footsteps, leaving his wife and children alone in the world, dying with hatred in his heart. I will become a ninja in a year, and I need to make sufficient preparations in advance. Lu Yun said vaguely. But this is too early. Asuka blushed. Lu Yun shook his head. He even felt that the time was too tight. During World War III, it was said that even children who had just graduated had to go to the battlefield. Although there was no such statement during World War II, Lu Yun could not guarantee it. If World War II is like World War III, then he would be in great danger, especially for a minor role like him. With more strength, life can be more secure. It is necessary to strengthen your own strength. Well said, Mom supports you. Asuka clapped and laughed, saying that it was of course a good thing for her son to be motivated, and knowing how to exercise was beneficial with no harm in it, so as a mother she would definitely support him. She just hoped that her precious son would not give up halfway. Mom will give you money to buy you fitness equipment tomorrow. You must exercise well and don't slack off. Asuka clenched her fist and cheered her up. Luyun was a little amused. After doing 100 push-ups, 100 squats, punches, and kicks, Luyun was so tired that he was gasping for breath. Compared to his peers in the ninja world, his physical strength is indeed very poor. Now, without opening the Sharingan, he may not be as good as Kushina in terms of boxing and physical skills, let alone top geniuses like Minato Namikaze. His body was very tired at this time, but his mental state was surprisingly good. This was related to the surge in his mental power after the fusion of his two souls. After sitting on the ground and resting for a while, his caring mother prepared drinks and ice water for him. After Luyun relieved his fatigue, he practiced his chakra control ability facing the wall. These are the two practices called climbing trees and walking on water. Son, what are you doing? Watching Luyun repeatedly stepping on the wall and falling to the ground, Asuka finally couldn't help but ask. She is not a ninja and has no access to this kind of training. Practice chakra control ability. Luyun explained simply, not caring whether Asuka could understand it or not. Then let me find you a cushion. Don't get hurt if you fall. Asuka said this and was about to go into the house to get a cushion, but was stopped by Luyun the next moment. No need, Mom. Just fall. I've got chakra protecting me, so I won't get hurt. Luyun said the truth. If you fall a few more times, it will be like strengthening your body, so that you won't be killed by a few punches in the future. Okay. Then you can practice slowly, and rest early after practice, but not too late. After a while of novelty, Asuka decided to go back to her room to rest. Late at night, in the territory of the Senju clan, a pink bedroom was brightly lit, and a young girl was sitting cross-legged on the floor, patiently looking at the sealed scroll in her hand. These scrolls contain the secret techniques of the Uzumaki family. There were 2 knocks on the door and an old woman pushed open the door. Grandma Mito, why are you here? Kushina quickly stood up. It's so late, why aren't you asleep yet, Kushina? Uzumaki Mito looked at the sealing scrolls scattered all over the ground. Her expression was obviously stunned, but then she was surprised and relieved. These are the most precious things of their Uzumaki clan. The Uzumaki kingdom has been destroyed, and the Uzumaki clan has been killed to the point where only 1,000 people are left. Now, there are only a few remaining members of the clan who are willing to take over these inheritances, which of course makes her happy. In the past, Kushina was always busy having fun, and it was difficult for her to learn sealing techniques. Why did she suddenly change her personality today? I can't sleep for the time being, so I thought about learning more sealing techniques. Kushina answered quietly with her head lowered. She couldn't help but think of a boy and a promise. She wanted to learn more about sealing techniques so that she would not be without knowledge to teach in the future. Okay, it's rare that you're willing to learn. If you have any questions in the future, feel free to ask me. Uzumaki Mito smiled with relief. She had no idea what this girl was thinking. She just thought that this girl had finally come to her senses. But it's too late today, you should turn off the lights and go to bed early. Upon hearing this, Kushina looked at the clock, but found that she was so focused that it was already late at night without realizing it. Yeah, I'm going to sleep now. Grandma Mito, you should go to bed early too. Kushina smiled obediently. Good boy. Uzumaki Mito praised, then helped Kushina close the door gently. Lying on the floor, Kushina tossed and turned, unable to sleep. As soon as she closed her eyes, she would think of the boy and the pair of strange and beautiful 3 Magatama Sharingan. When she thought of someone touching her face and she also carefully caressed his handsome face, Kushina couldn't help but raise the corners of her mouth. Why didn't I realize he was so handsome before? Kushina's heart felt as if it was coated with honey, so sweet that she couldn't sleep. He can hide his strength and still achieve good results. He should be the top student in the class, right? What a low-key guy. Kushina rolled around holding the pillow, muttering to herself from time to time, with a silly smile on her face. Oh, what a shame. Luyun was lying on the floor, sneezing from time to time. He thought he had a cold. Chapter 9. Big conflict on campus. Rather than waiting for you to take action, I might as well take. Early in the morning. The sky was just beginning to brighten when Luyun had already gotten up and washed up. With his strong mental strength, he only needs 5 or 6 hours of sleep to be full of energy. This discovery surprised him a lot, and it can be regarded as the only golden finger for his soul to travel to another world. After tiptoeing to open the door, Luyun started a new day of exercise and practice. Let's start with a morning run, to make up for the endurance deficit. After running about a quarter of the way around Konoha, the sky was already completely bright. When he could no longer run, Luyun slowly walked back home. When he returned home, Asuka had already prepared breakfast. After eating the milk bread, Luyun took his school bag and went to the ninja school. Why is Luyun suddenly so motivated? Asuka looked at his back with a look of confusion on her face. Not only did he become more motivated, but many of his habits also changed. For example, how he dressed, how he got up late and stayed in bed late. He could do many trivial things by himself without her nagging him as his mother. Fortunately, these changes are all good, so Asuka doesn't have to worry too much. When he arrived at the ninja school, before Luyun could return to his classroom, several elementary school students stopped him. Isn't this the little bastard? Why isn't he wearing a headband today? Luyun did not answer, but looked at these elementary school students thoughtfully. These people have black eyes and black hair, and have round fans with the clan emblem on their backs. They are all children of the Uchiha clan. They are 1 year older than Luyun and are in the 6th grade this year. Hey, I'm talking to you. Seeing that Luyun remained silent, the man wanted to reach out his hand to play with his hair. Luyun got there before him and grabbed his wrist with one hand. Just talk, don't move your hands. Luyun had a cold face and gently shook off his arm. His words were not harsh, but when heard by others, they made them very unhappy. Hey, I gave you face, didn't I? I haven't seen you for a few days, you little bastard. Are you getting more irritable? Uchiha Kazuhiko grinned sinisterly, with a look of ill intent on his face. It seems like it's time to teach you a lesson. Forget it, Kazuhiko, we are all family members, don't make a fool of ourselves. An Uchiha boy took the initiative to speak up to help. The commotion here attracted quite a few elementary school students, who seemed to be waiting to see the show. Among them was the Uchiha clan's mortal enemy, the Hyuga clan. A little person, who was usually timid and submissive, dared to fight with him today, and had a sour face from beginning to end. His attitude made Uchiha Kazuhiko very disgusted. Humph, I'll let you go today, but don't let us run into you outside of school, you little bastard. Uchiha Kazuhiko uttered a harsh word and wanted to leave, because even though he was unhappy, he didn't want to be treated like a monkey and laughed at by others. Did I let you go? Before he could leave, Luyun called him in a deep voice. He may not care if someone calls him a little bastard, but he can't pretend not to hear the term, little bastard. Oh, what else do you want to do? Uchiha Kazuhiko spoke with a smile, but before he could finish his question, Luyun slapped him hard in the face. His entire arm was filled with chakra, so his speed was extremely fast. Uchiha Kazuhiko was blown far away before he could react. 2 white teeth mixed with blood flew out, and he fell to the ground in a disgraceful manner. Everyone was staring at this scene in amazement. They couldn't believe that the soft and sticky little bastard actually hit someone. Moreover, the one he beat was a fellow Uchiha clan member, and he beat him so cruelly. Instead of waiting for you to take revenge on me, I might as well get rid of you now. They have already become enemies, so even if he gives in, others may not let him go. Besides, why should he give in? Good people are often bullied, and good horses are often ridden. Blindly tolerating will only make those who bully you become more aggressive. Lu Yun walked quickly forward as he spoke. Before the stunned He Yan could react, a big foot kicked him hard in the face. With one kick, blood started flowing from his nose. It's no wonder that Lu Yun was so cruel. Other kids never called him a little bastard, but this guy did it, and they are both from the Uchiha clan. From this we can see why Asuka took him away from the Uchiha clan. According to the naughty nature of the ninja elementary school student, if Lu Yun doesn't beat him up today, someone will dare to come and call him a little bastard tomorrow. Asshole, stop it. Before Lu Yun could continue his attack, two Uchiha clan members quickly stepped forward and stopped him. An Uchiha clan member kicked out and forced Lu Yun back with great force. Patting his kicked wrist, Lu Yun looked somewhat calm. When chakra is concentrated in the arms will become very powerful and resistant to blows. The kick from the elementary school student looked incredibly powerful, but it actually didn't hurt at all when it hit Lu Yun's hand. This is one of the benefits of knowing how to control chakra. Last night, he was able to climb the wall, which means he has mastered this practice. The reason why it is so fast is still because of the strong spirit. Controlling the flow of chakra requires a strong mental will. As a man with two souls united as one, his strongest weapon is his mental power. And with the 3 Magatama Sharingan, his personal mental power is even more exaggerated. Lu Yun was able to initially control the chakra in his body, which was a great improvement to his personal strength. This ability alone is enough to defeat this group of elementary school students. You bastard Lu Yun, we are all from the same family, you are too cruel, aren't you? Uchiha Cheni scolded angrily. Why don't you say he cursed more harshly? Do you really think I have no temper and can let others insult me? He was often bullied on a daily basis, and the nickname, Little Bastard, was spread by this group of people in the tribe. Otherwise, in the eyes of a group of students with colorful hair, who is not a bastard? Why would they call him a little bastard? If he recognized me as a fellow tribesman, he wouldn't have cursed me so harshly. Since he wants me to learn a lesson, I'll teach him a lesson first. If you dare to speak rudely in front of me again, don't blame me for being heavy-handed. After Lu Yun finished speaking, he ignored the astonished crowd and walked straight towards the classroom with his hands in his pockets. Is this still the same little bastard I know? Why is he so powerful all of a sudden? This guy has such a broad forehead and a girl's face, but he is so cruel when he fights. The elementary school students watching the scene were talking about it. What's wrong with having a wide forehead? And how can such a pretty face be a girl's? He's handsome, and has such a little personality. Tisk tisk tisk, he's too manly. Some girls have started to become obsessed with him. Haha, the Uchiha clan is biting each other, it's really interesting. Someone from the Hyuga clan started to laugh. Many young men from prominent families looked joking when they heard this. Woo woo woo, I'm going to fight him. Uchiha Kazuhiko finally recovered from his shock, and as soon as he reacted, he wanted to get up and fight Lu Yun to the death, tears falling. Hey, don't be impulsive, Kazuhiko, the class is about to start, and the teacher will be here soon, you should be patient and take revenge after the first class. A tribesman who was on good terms with him suggested this. Let's report to the teacher. You were injured like this, you should go to the infirmary first. Uchiha Cheni advised. No, how can you take revenge on me? Just say that I fell. Uchiha Kazuhiko spat out a mouthful of blood with a grim face. If I don't knock all his teeth out, I won't be called Uchiha. Uchiha Kazuhiko felt that he was careless just now and did not dodge, which allowed Lu Yun to succeed. If a real fight breaks out, Lu Yun will definitely not be his opponent. It's not like he hasn't beaten people before, not to mention that he has helpers on his side. Chapter 10 The clown is actually me. Don't run away after school. Not long after Lu Yun finished beating someone up, he almost collided with Kushina when he arrived at the classroom door. "What are you doing? You look so anxious." "Ah. I heard from my classmates that you had a fight with someone outside. Are you hurt?" Kushina asked hurriedly. She looked Luyun up and down, and her concerned look made Luyun laugh. "Are you concerned about me? Are you worried that I'll get beaten up?" I didn't." Kushina was about to nod in agreement, but suddenly realized that the question was very ambiguous, and she was so scared that she quickly shook her head to deny it. "Ah. So you don't care about me?" "Well, I was just being sentimental." Luyun avoided her with a lonely look on his face, and then walked slowly towards his seat. The back figure looked particularly lonely, as if he was a walking corpse without a soul. Kushina immediately became anxious. She wanted to go up and explain clearly, but she was too shameless to admit that she was just concerned. Just when she didn't know what to do, the teacher walked into the classroom. Kushina obediently returned to her seat. She looked at Luyun with a blushing face, but saw that he had his head lowered and his long hair obscured his expression. "It looks like sad. Is he sad because of what I said? So, I am so important to him?" When she thought of this, Kushina suddenly lost her previous nervousness and felt happy instead. Why does this girl have such an attitude? Originally, he was in the mood for acting and wanted to tease the little girl, preferably to turn her into a real, big red tomato. But when he glanced at Kushina from the corner of his eye, he saw that her pretty face was just slightly red. She was neither anxious nor nervous, but instead had a smile on her face. Could it be that I am the one who was being sentimental? Thinking of this possibility, Luyun suddenly felt that he had no love left. "I finally caught a cute little one suitable for raising, but just when I started to experience the fun, it seemed to be over. The clown is actually me." Luyun sighed in bewilderment, and then lay down on the desk like a piece of mud. He wasn't being lax. This was a math class and he was listening carefully. "I lay on the table so that I could use my hands to relieve the pain in my feet. After all, I was very tired from running in the morning and walked a long way, so my legs were very sore now." Due to the blind spot of the parallel perspective, Kushina did not see Luyun tapping his feet. She just thought that he was hit by her words, which caused him to look so limp. Kushina tore off a piece of white paper, wrote a few words, crumpled it up and threw it at him cryptically. Luyun felt something hit his head, and when he looked around, he saw it was a ball of paper. He turned his head to look at Kushina, only to see that she was sitting upright, looking straight ahead, as if she was listening to the class seriously. "You don't even look at me. It's better not to look at this paper ball." Luyun left the paper ball beside him and deliberately didn't pick it up. Kushina saw this scene out of the corner of her eye, and she immediately became anxious and angry. "Are you angry with me?" Thinking of this, Kushina quickly threw another one. This grain of water fell right in front of Luyun. Luyun found it funny, and the next moment he blew the small paper ball in front of him away in one breath. "Asshole Luyun. Didn't you just deny my concern? Is it necessary to do this? Don't you know that girls are thin-skinned? You stingy guy." Kushina was so angry that her teeth were itching. She was not giving up and threw out another big one, which hit Luyun directly on the head. Luyun seemed not to notice the paper ball, he even scratched the spot where he was hit. There is no intention to pick it up at all. Seeing this, Kushina became so angry that veins popped out and her face turned red. Click, click, click. Luyun suddenly heard some strange sounds of joints rubbing against each other, and a cool breeze made his hair stand on end. He couldn't help but look at Kushina out of curiosity. But he saw that the other party was glaring at him coldly, with two strands of red hair on his temples standing on end without wind, and his pink fists were clenched so tightly that they made a crackling sound. Luyun was frightened and quickly picked up the two pieces of paper on the ground. Angry Kushina is so scary. Cold sweat broke out on Luyun's forehead. The legendary, blood-red pepper, was indeed not a lie. Her original self had some traumas about her. Her body was actually afraid instinctively. "Are you a bitch?" Do you have to make me angry? When Kushina saw him hurriedly picking up the paper ball on the ground, she couldn't help but curse in her heart, but the corners of her mouth rose slightly. Are you looking for death? Believe it or not, I will beat you up. These are the words in the big paper ball, and also the second sentence. Seeing this, beads of sweat appeared on Luyun's forehead more densely. He forced an ugly smile towards Kushina. Don't be angry, I ran out of the classroom just now to help you, but you guys finished so quickly. Are you not hurt? This is the first piece of paper, and the words between the lines are full of care. After hearing these words, Luyun felt relaxed all over, the sweat stopped, and his back straightened up. Luyun wrote a reply and threw it back. When Kushina saw the paper ball thrown at her, she hesitated for a few minutes. Finally, she glared at Luyun before picking up the paper ball. How can I be injured? Don't you already know that I am hiding my strength? Brother is actually very strong, there is no need to worry about me. When she saw the words on the paper ball, especially the word, brother, she blushed and her heart beat fast. Holding back the intense feeling of shame, Kushina took a few deep breaths and pretended nothing had happened as she put the paper ball into her school bag. This conversation is too embarrassing, and cannot be seen by anyone other than Luyun, or else they will experience what social death is like. Tearing off the white paper again, Kushina passed the note around again. I've never seen you fight with anyone, so how can I know how strong you are? How about, we practice alone after school? Seeing the above words, Luyun was speechless. She is indeed cute, but her heart is too wild. She always needs to find someone to practice alone with. Does this still act like a girl? Before Luyun could reply, another small piece of paper hit his head. What? You don't dare. Coward. Seeing this, Luyun turned around and gave her a blank look. This damn girl is taking advantage of him. Does she really think he is still the Uchiha Luyun who is soft-spoken, gentle and easy to push down? Luyun picked up the pen and wrote a paragraph of vigorous and powerful characters. Don't run away after school. Seeing this text, Kushina couldn't help but burst out laughing. Her movement here instantly caught the teacher's attention. Kushina, what are you laughing at? Is the lesson I teach funny? The math teacher scolded with a stern face. Chapter 11. Framed by Kushina, the blood-red pepper runs wild. Faced with the math teacher's questioning, Kushina broke out in a cold sweat and stammered for a long time without being able to give a clear answer. Luyun looked at this scene and felt uncomfortable trying to hold back his laughter, his eyes were filled with gloating. Kushina happened to catch a glimpse of Luyun trying to hold back his laughter from the corner of her eye. The next moment, she raised her eyebrows, pointed at Luyun and loudly argued. Teacher, it was Luyun who made faces to make me laugh. The smile on Luyun's face froze, and the next moment he hurriedly explained. I'm not. Both of you, get back and stand up to listen to the class. The math teacher didn't care about anything and just made the two of them stand in the back as punishment. Stinky tomato, you framed me. Luyun cursed in a low voice. It's all your fault, you little bastard. Kushina cursed back in a low voice. Did I make you laugh? Luyun glared at her fiercely, blaming others for having such a low sense of humor. Then why were you laughing when the teacher found me? If I'm not doing well, then you won't be doing well either. Kushina smiled brightly and started to act like a rogue. His legs were already sore, and now he had to stand as punishment. Luyun was really in tears. When the first class was about to end, Kushina noticed that Luyun's legs were shaking constantly. She couldn't help but ask curiously. Hey, why are your legs shaking? It's all your fault. Luyun rolled his eyes at her. He originally had plenty of time to rest. Isn't it just standing in the corner as a punishment? Your legs are shaking like this. Are you a wimp? After saying this, Kushina herself laughed. I went for a morning run. Besides, the ninja school is far from my home. Now I have to stand in the corner as punishment. If it were you, you wouldn't give in. To be honest, if it was Kushina, she wouldn't be so weak. After all, she has the strong physique of the Uzumaki clan, and her blood volume after adulthood has exceeded that of an unawakened sage body. As a Jinchuriki, she did not die immediately after the Nine Tails was forcibly extracted from her body. Instead, she was able to exert her strength to restrain the complete Nine Tails for half a day. As for Uzumaki Naruto, who possesses the body of a sage, he almost died on the spot after half of the nine-tailed fox was taken away. If it weren't for his halo as the protagonist, the grass on his grave would be several meters high. From this, it can be seen that Kushina's physical fitness is terrifying. Based on this advantage alone, it is no problem for her to beat the current Luyun. Tisk, I'm not as weak as you. Kushina mocked mercilessly. You, shut up. Luyun was so angry that his teeth were itching. Soon, the first class came to an end. Fortunately, the math teacher saw that Luyun's legs were trembling and he was sweating profusely, looking like he had kidney deficiency, so he didn't make things difficult for them. He scolded them a few words and then turned and left. Hey. Luyun almost fell to the ground because of the numbness in his feet after walking a few steps. Fortunately, Kushina supported him in time. Let me help you back to your seat. Kushina said softly with a blushing face. At this moment, the two of them were standing very close to each other, and both could smell the scent of each other. I won't thank you. Luyun curled his lips and looked a little stubborn. Then I won't help you. Kushina pretended to let go. Brother doesn't need your help. Luyun struggled to push her away, but saw Kushina suddenly sticking back to him. Forget it. Seeing how pitiful you look, I won't bother with you. Kushina had a smiling look on her face, which made Luyun want to punch her, but in the end he did not stand up to resist, but let her support him. What happened to Luyun? Minato also came over to help Luyun on the other side at this time. His legs are numb and weak, and his body is too weak. Before Luyun could speak, Kushina took the lead and laughed. Then you should exercise more. Luyun was helped back to his seat by the two of them. As soon as he sat down, he immediately pushed Kushina away and instead smiled and nodded to Minato in thanks. Kushina was not annoyed when being pushed away. Instead, she sat happily beside him. Minato looked at this scene with a strange expression. When did Kushina become so good-tempered? I can't even drive him away, and he's still smiling like a little dog. Not long after Luyun sat back in his seat, a group of elementary school students rushed into their classroom aggressively. As soon as he saw the person leading the group, Luyun couldn't help but shake his head and sigh. This little brat named Uchiha Kazuhiko hasn't learned his lesson yet. He was beaten so badly not long ago, and he's already rebelling again after just one class. You really don't learn from your mistakes. Luyun said this and stood up with his hands on the desk. What are you going to do? Seeing that something was wrong, Kushina hurried forward to stop several Uchiha disciples. These people glared at Luyun angrily. Considering the fact that Luyun had beaten someone before, how could Kushina not know the purpose of their invasion of the classroom? It's none of your business. Get out of here, or I'll beat you up too. An Uchiha clan member shouted coldly. He wanted to push Kushina away, but he never expected that Kushina would take action first the next moment. She grabbed the opponent's wrist, used the power of her waist to give him a hard over-the-shoulder throw. This fall directly knocked the opponent unconscious. You want to bully Luyun? I'm here, so don't even think about touching him. The 6th grade elementary school student that Kushina stepped on the ground suddenly had a strong aura, which frightened the Uchiha opposite. It is good. Luyun couldn't help but applaud and cheer for her. How could he not love such a little cutie? The feeling of being protected by someone is so wonderful. Come on, Nana. I support you mentally. Luyun raised his little fist to cheer for Kushina. Upon hearing this, Kushina's face instantly turned red. He called me Nana. He called me Nana. Assholes. Everyone, come together and beat them both to death. Uchiha Kazuhiko's face was distorted with anger. He waved his hand and started fighting. Kushina didn't care about being shy. She used both hands to pull up the Uchiha on the ground and used him as a human weapon, and immediately smashed the group of elementary school students who were close to her, making them wail and scream. Her violent appearance scared many elementary school students to tears, and even Luyun was frightened by her fierceness and gasped repeatedly. He knew Kushina was strong, but he didn't expect her to be this strong. The runaway blood red pepper can beat a group of people by himself, and most of the opponents are 6th grade elementary school students. Among them, the fighting power of the Uchiha disciples was not weak, but they were unable to defeat her for a while. Instead, they were forced to retreat again and again by her. The Uchiha who was used as a human weapon was even worse. He was foaming at the mouth and almost unconscious. Seeing that Kushina was going crazy, Luyun endured the discomfort in his legs and hurriedly tried to persuade her. Hey, Nana, put him down first, or find someone else to use as a weapon, this guy is almost dying. Don't fight too hard in school. If something happens, the teacher will not let Kushina off easily, even if she is the future Nine-Tails Jinchuriki. After all, the Uchiha in her hand was foaming at the mouth. Luyun hurried forward to persuade her to calm down, at least let her hold the weapon for a while. Chapter 12. He risked his life to block the kunai for her, and the attacker was considered to be A.H. Kushina listened to the advice and threw the Uchiha sword in her hand violently into the crowd, causing many people to cry for their parents. After doing this, she clapped her hands, put her hands on her hips and stared at the remaining Uchiha. Let you bully others. Call out. Before Kushina could even finish her words, she heard a sound of breaking through the air and a kunai was shot straight at her. For a moment, she was frightened by the flying kunai and wanted to dodge, but it seemed too late. Luyun raised his eyebrows and stretched out his hand in a hurry. With his excellent eyesight and reaction, he grabbed the kunai in his hand. Bright red blood dripped slowly from his hand, and 2 small cuts were made on his palm by the sharp-edged kunai. This is just an unsharpened kunai used for practicing throwing techniques in school. If it were replaced with a real sharpened kunai, he would lose this hand. Luyun ignored the injury on his hand, turned the kunai in his hand in the opposite direction, and threw it to its original owner without thinking. What? A shrill scream was heard, and the kunai pierced directly into Uchiha Kazuhiko's thigh. Seeing blood, many of the onlookers had a bad feeling and fled in fear. When a few Uchiha disciples saw that the situation was out of control, they panicked and quickly carried the screaming Uchiha Kazuhiko and fled the scene. They were no longer in the mood to fight. This matter had become too big a deal and the teacher would definitely intervene. Luyun, your hand. Kushina grabbed Luyun's hand, so anxious that she couldn't finish her words. If Luyun hadn't raised her hand to grab the kunai just now, she would have been the one injured right now. When she thought about someone being willing to sacrifice himself to block the kunai for her, Kushina's eyes instantly turned red and tears rolled down her cheeks uncontrollably. Why are you so stupid? Don't you know that kunai is dangerous? How dare you catch it with your bare hands? Kushina was angry and moved to tears at the same time. You're only catching it because it's dangerous. If I hit you with this, wouldn't it make a hole? Luyun answered seriously. You taught them a lesson for me, how could I let you get hurt? When these words were spoken, Kushina was stunned at first, and then she pouted and started crying. After living in this strange village for so long, this is the first time she has been taken seriously by her peers. You have to know that he is risking his life to protect her. It cannot be fake. Which girl can bear being stabbed like this? Kushina hugged Luyun and cried loudly. When did they two secretly get together? How could they be so close? A girl saw this scene and was so surprised that she lost her voice. Yes, this has developed to the point where one has to fight back for the other and block the knife for the other half. Many classmates were shocked when they heard this. When did these two get together? They were eating dog food inexplicably, and now they don't know what kind of romantic love story happened between the two. However, in the eyes of some girls, a man who dares to block kunai for the opposite sex or his significant other is definitely true love. Some girls looked at Kushina with a little jealousy in their eyes. They also wanted to find a handsome boy like this. Okay, stop crying. It's just a minor skin injury. It will scab over in a while. Lu Yun patted her on the back and smiled. A lot of people are watching. As soon as these words came out, Kushina reacted instantly. She took a quick glance at the crowd of onlookers in the class, her little face blushing like a ripe tomato. The next moment, she quickly pushed Lu Yun away and ran back to her seat, then buried her head in her arms and dared not see anyone again. Lu Yun took the paper handed to him by his classmate, clenched his palm gently and the bleeding quickly stopped. As Lu Yun expected, their class teacher, Mr. Oda, quickly came over to arrest them. Uchiha Ryun, Uzumaki Kushina, both of you follow me to the office immediately. When he arrived at the teacher's office, Shoutian first checked the injury on Lu Yun's hand. He breathed a sigh of relief after confirming that it was only a minor skin injury. But the next moment he took out a bandage and bandaged Lu Yun's wound diligently. Uchiha Kazuhiko, what's going on between you and me? Oda stared at Lu Yun and asked in a deep voice. Lu Yun had no choice but to tell the story of the grudge between the two. A lot of people had seen this, so there was no point in Lu Yun lying. He could only try his best to get rid of Kushina. So, it was you who started it first. You knocked out 2 of his teeth. Oda covered his head with his hands in pain. That guy cursed so harshly and even threatened to teach Lu Yun a lesson. Knocking out 2 of his teeth would be the least of his worries. Kushina muttered softly. Shut up, I haven't said anything to you yet. Oda roared at Kushina repeatedly, his saliva almost splashing on her face. Teacher Oda, this is not Kushina's fault. She helped me out because we were classmates and desk mates. If it weren't for her, I would have been beaten to death today. Lu Yun spoke seriously. He portrayed Kushina as a heroic character, so that not only would she not be at fault, but she would also be meritorious. In fact, it was almost like that, except that it was Kushina who made the first move. As that's so. Kushina. Oda stared at Kushina with suspicion. That must be the case. She doesn't know Uchiha Kazuhiko, and there is no grudge between the two sides. If she wasn't trying to protect her classmates, why would she attack others for no reason? Teacher Oda, I think Kushina's starting point for protecting her classmates is good. We can't think she is at fault just because she won. If this is a mistake, then no one will dare to do anything brave in the future. Lu Yun took the lead in explaining. When Teacher Oda heard this explanation, he nodded subconsciously and felt that it made sense. Kushina stared at Lu Yun blankly. She had to admit that this man was really good at talking. He was able to win her over with just a few simple words. She even thought that Mr. Oda might praise her for her bravery. When will fighting in school be praised by the teacher? Let's not talk about Kushina for now. That Uchiha Kazuhiko was seriously injured. His homeroom teacher was so angry that he said he would report the matter to the Hokage. What do you think we should do about this? Oda said and looked at Lu Yun. Since you are so eloquent, please give us another explanation. Teacher Oda, I think Uchiha Kazuhiko should be dealt with seriously. That guy openly committed murder in someone else's class. This person has evil intentions and should be severely punished. Lu Yun spoke seriously, and as soon as he opened his mouth, he shocked the teachers around him. The kunai belonged to Uchiha Kazuhiko, and he fired it with the intention of killing someone. His target was Kushina's throat. If I hadn't been quick enough to grab the kunai, Kushina might have died by now. Upon hearing this, Oda could no longer sit still. This matter was worse and more serious than he had imagined. No, this matter must be reported to the Hokage. Oda made the decision immediately. He no longer had any say in this matter. Chapter 13. The 3 different Hokages, 2 completely opposite attitudes. Soon, what happened in the ninja school reached the ears of the 3rd Hokage, Sarutobi Hiruzen. To everyone's surprise, this busy Hokage actually took the time to come to the school in person to deal with the matter. This also indirectly reflects that Sarutobi Hiruzen attaches great importance to this incident and also attaches great importance to Uzumaki Kushina's Nine-Tails container. Want to shoot the future Nine-Tails Jinchuriki? Was this unintentional by Uchiha Kazuhiko? Or was he instructed by someone? He must investigate the whole story. Of course, he is the principal of the ninja school and he actually cares a lot about the children in the school. After some questioning and investigation, Sarutobi Hiruzen quickly understood the general cause and course of the incident. To put it bluntly, this is an internal fight among the children of the Uchiha clan. However, the only thing that deserved his attention was the fact that Uchiha Kazuhiko used weapons without authorization. Are you sure that Uchiha Kazuhiko shot the kunai at Kushina's throat? Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at Luyun and asked seriously. Yes, I'm sure. Luyun answered with a firm look in his eyes. In fact, Luyun couldn't be sure whether it was the throat or the shoulders, but since others had already used the knife, he would not be merciful and leave the enemy a way to survive, or room. If it weren't for his own weakness and too many limitations, Luyun would have wanted to shout, "This boy must not be allowed to stay." Based on the flight path of the kunai, Luyun's height, the way he raised his hand to grab the kunai, and the testimony of the witnesses present, we can basically confirm that his words are most likely correct. A ninja with professional criminal investigation skills made an analysis based on the intelligence. Send the child back to the Uchiha clan, and find a time later to process his withdrawal from school. By the way, tell the Uchiha clan to strengthen the ideological education and supervision of their children. Ninja schools don't teach skills to be used against their own people. Sarutobi Hiruzen made the final decision with one blow. These words shocked many teachers, and even Luyun himself was a little frightened. The third Hokage acted too decisively. For an elementary school student, the punishment was a bit too harsh. Was he trying to use this incident to punish the Uchiha clan? Or was he really angry because Kushina was in danger? Or was it simply to use this incident as a warning to other students in the ninja school? Or was it because Uchiha Kazuhiko was too vicious and unsuitable to be a ninja? Luyun couldn't accurately determine the specific reason. I had the impression that the third Hokage was a kind leader, wasn't he? How come? Luyun was shocked, but he didn't dare look at the other person directly, for fear of being discovered. Perhaps it's because I'm young. The current third Hokage is no longer the kindly old man. Luyun feels that we cannot judge his personality and thoughts based on the original work. Perhaps Sarutobi Hiruzen himself is not kind, and he only shows his kind side to those who have great influence on him. Luyun's mind raced like lightning, and in just a few minutes he thought of a lot of things. Uchiha Luyun, you hit your classmates because of a curse. Do you know that you are wrong? Sarutobi Hiruzen spoke in a deep voice, his tone neither hurried nor slow, but there was such a great majesty in his voice that Luyun's breathing became rapid. It's understandable that he hits someone because of a word like, little bastard. If he hits too lightly, others might even stand by him. But if the punishment is severe, we cannot tolerate it. I know I was wrong. Luyun lowered his head at the right time. Even though he felt that he was right, he had to pretend to be timid and admit his mistake at this moment. Since you disregarded your own safety and protected your companions from danger, I will not pursue your fault for the time being. Study hard in the future and don't cause any more trouble. Sarutobi Hiruzen chose to take a lenient approach to Ryu's mistake. Compared with his previous punishment on Uchiha Kazuhiko, this is clearly a different attitude. This attitude is the kindness of the three generations of old men that Luyun had the impression of when he read the original work. There are two main reasons why Sarutobi Hiruzen let Ryun off easily. First, it is because of Luyun's father, Uchiha Mamoru. Uchiha Morinoi was a martyr who died on the battlefield. Sarutobi Hiruzen usually showed kindness to the widow and descendants of the hero. Second, it is because Uchiha Ryun knows how to cherish his companions and is willing to protect them at the cost of getting hurt. Such a person is the most suitable to inherit the will of fire. This kind of talent is worthy of Konoha's vigorous training, and Sarutobi Hiruzen is very optimistic about young people with a spirit of sacrifice. Back then, he relied on his spirit of sacrifice and offered to cover his companions when they encountered a major crisis, which enabled him to successfully take the position of Hokage. Your father, Uchiha Mori, was an outstanding ninja, brave and fearless on the battlefield. Sarutobi Hiruzen began a 10-minute-long ideological education. Luyun listened very seriously, with a look of fatigue and sadness on his face from time to time. I hope you can study hard, inherit his will of fire, and become a useful person to Konoha. Facing Sarutobi Hiruzen's brainwashing, Luyun behaved very obediently. He nodded when he should nod, cried when he should cry, and even if he couldn't cry, he had to look sad. Overall, Sarutobi Hiruzen was very satisfied and generously forgave Ryun's mistakes, even forgiving Kushina for knocking someone unconscious. The unlucky ones were those who started the trouble, especially Uchiha Kazuhiko, who not only got beaten up twice, but also could no longer be a Konoha ninja in the future. Because he was expelled from school, he could not receive the Konoha forehead protector. Without the forehead protector, he could not be considered a registered ninja, let alone join the Konoha Guard. Maybe he can only stay in the Uchiha clan and become a private soldier of an elder. The class was in progress in the classroom. As soon as Luyun returned to his seat, Kushina hurriedly handed him a small note. What's wrong? Did Lord Hokage give you any trouble? The words were full of concern. No, the matter has been resolved satisfactorily. That's good. Why are your eyes red? And you keep sniffing. You've been crying, right? Kushina's eyes were full of curiosity. I'm too immersed in the role, just let me relax for a while. What do you mean? Within the Uchiha clan. When Uchiha II, a Jonin, received the news that his son was injured and expelled from school, he could no longer take care of his duty in the security team and rushed back home in panic. After finding out the whole story, Uchiha was so angry that he almost lost his mind. His son had 2 teeth knocked out, was kicked so hard that his nose was bleeding, and was shot in the thigh with a kunai. As a result, not only did the attacker get away with nothing, he even had the victim expelled from school on the spot. That's outrageous. Don't be afraid, son. Dad will definitely take care of it for you. When Uchiha Do got angry, even the 3 Magatama Sharingan appeared unconsciously. He suppressed his anger and comforted the crying Uchiha Kazuhiko, and then angrily wanted to go directly to the 3rd Hokage to argue. But as soon as he stepped out of the house, he changed his mind. Instead of going to the Hokage building, he went back to the Konoha Guard. He wanted to use the power of his family to put pressure on the 3rd Hokage. Only in this way could he make the Hokage compromise and let his son return to school. It was impossible for him to accomplish this alone. Chapter 14. The future Uchiha clan leader breaks off relations with the Uchiha clan. Inside the Konoha Guard, the Uchiha chief elder, Uchiha Moonmasa, drank his tea with a heavy face. Just because of a small mistake, the 3rd Hokage wants to deprive Kazuhiko of his right to become a ninja. It's obvious that he wants to use my son's incident to threaten our Uchiha clan. The 3rd Hokage is so unfair. Great Elder, you must stand up for Kazuhiko. Uchiha Do bowed with red eyes. I have already investigated this matter thoroughly. It was that kid He-Yan who started the trouble and cursed people first, and the people he cursed were our own clan members. After being beaten up, he didn't even control his temper. He even teamed up with a few tribesmen to fight in other people's classes. It would be fine if a few people couldn't beat the others, but in the end they dared to take out the kunai and openly attack, pointing it directly at the throat of a female student. He-Yan is such a mess. How can you ask me to help you when something like this happens? Both parties involved were members of the Uchiha clan, and this family feud had spread widely in the village, almost becoming a laughingstock. After something like this happened, not only was the Hokage angry, even he, the actual head of the Uchiha clan, was dissatisfied with Uchiha Kazuhiko. But, it was my son who was injured, and the girl was not actually hurt. The 3rd Hokage's punishment is too inhumane. Uchiha Do argued loudly. He didn't expect that even his own elder had this attitude. Everyone thought it was his son's fault alone. At this moment, the Uchiha clan did not know Kushina's special identity and just thought she was an ordinary girl. The selection of the 9 Tails container was considered top secret by Konoha's high-ranking officials. Only a few people knew about it, and it was even less likely that the Uchiha clan would know about it. The third Hokage's sentence was indeed too severe. I will discuss this with him and see if we can give Kazuhiko another chance to reform. The great Uchiha elder sighed. After all, Uchiha Do was the family's senior ninja. He couldn't let the other party down no matter what. He had to help him. Hearing this result, Uchiha Do was obviously not satisfied. How do you think we should deal with that little bastard? Heian had 2 teeth knocked out just because he cursed at him, and was even shot in the thigh. This guy is so cruel and has no regard for the feelings of his fellow clan members. I request that the family punish him. Uchiha Zong remained silent after hearing this. Please, great elder, help my son to get justice. Uchiha Do bowed again. Grandpa, Uncle Do has worked diligently in the security team over the years. Even if he has no credit, he has worked hard. Please help him if you can. The grandson of the great elder, Uchiha Fugaku, who was a Chunin, took the initiative to offer help. At this time, he had left school for several years and was currently working in the Konoha security department. That little bastard really went too far by starting a fight over a joke. This time our Uchiha clan was reprimanded by the Hokage and laughed at by other clans. I can't say that it's all that guy's fault, but he must also bear some responsibility. Uchiha Fugaku continued to speak, and his words were heard by Uchiha Do and remembered in his heart. Uchiha Do looked at Fugaku with deep gratitude in his eyes. He never expected that the person who would stand up and speak for him in the end would be Master Fugaku. Uchiha Zong nodded when he heard this, agreeing with Fugaku's statement. Uchiha Zong was very satisfied that his grandson's simple 2 sentences were enough to convince an elite ninja. He asked Uchiha Fugaku to stay by his side in order to train him better. The Uchiha clan had not elected a clan leader for many years, and he wanted his grandson to be the clan leader. That woman named Asuka took her little bastard away from the clan. I think she has some grudge against the Uchiha clan. Uchiha Zong sighed heavily as he spoke. He felt that the reason why the little bastard fought against his own people was because he was influenced by his mother Asuka. Fugaku, go call Uchiha Ken over. Uchiha Ken is Uchiha Mamoru's cousin, and also Luyun's uncle. Soon, Uchiha Ken entered the office. He was also a member of the security team. It can be said that most of the Uchiha ninjas worked in the security team. Great Elder, what do you want? Uchiha Mune asked him to sit down, and then told him about Kazuhiko and Ryun. The Great Elder wanted him to act as a lobbyist, and it would be best if Asuka could bring the little bastard over to apologize to Uchiha 2's son, so that the matter could be completely resolved. Great Elder, this matter. Uchiha Ken seemed a little embarrassed. What's wrong? Is there any difficulty? Uchiha Zong frowned. It's mainly because Asuka is a difficult woman to communicate with. Never mind, I'll go and try first. Uchiha Ken finally took on the task. Into the night, Uchiha Ken knocked on the door of the Luyun family under the pretext of visiting. What's your business? When Luyun saw the person coming, he did not open the door for him immediately. Instead, he questioned him with a cold face. This guy named Uchiha Ken was very unfriendly to their family. He always looked down on them, and his nickname was first given by someone outside the door. As his cousin, Uchiha Mori was not very powerful and married an ordinary foreign woman, which made Uchiha Ken look down on their family. You little bastard, you didn't even open the door when your uncle came. Is this how Asuka taught you? Uchiha Ken scolded with a stern face. Luyun already had a very bad impression of this person in his memory, and this bastard started scolding and scolding right away. Luyun didn't intend to indulge him for the time being. Who do you think you are? Who knows you? Get away from here, don't come to our house to beg. We have nothing to give you here. As soon as these words were spoken, Uchiha Ken instantly jumped up in anger. You are such a disrespectful little bastard, you have no manners at all. Before Uchiha Ken could finish his words, a purple-haired woman came out angrily holding a broom. He swallowed back the words that were about to come out. Why don't you try to scold him again? Asuka opened the door, stood in front of Uchiha Ken holding a broom and spoke coldly. Although Asuka is just an ordinary person with no cultivation, when she got angry, even Uchiha Ken, who was a senior ninja, didn't dare to look at her directly. Asuka, can we go inside and talk? It's about Xiao Luyun. Uchiha Ken gritted his teeth and asked with an awkward smile. The commotion here attracted the attention of several passers-by, and Uchiha Ken felt very embarrassed to be blocked at the door like this. No, you are not welcome in our home. Please don't disturb us. Otherwise, I don't mind going to find the Hokage and ask him to bring justice to us orphans and widows. Asuka spoke without mercy. Among the Uchiha clan, the one she hated the most was Uchiha Ken's family. It could be said that the one who bullied the Ryujin family the most was this so-called cousin's family. In order to prevent Ryujin from living a life of being excluded, Asuka moved out of the Uchiha clan's territory shortly after Uchiha Mamoru's death. The Uchiha clan looked down on her as an outsider and disliked Luyun's hair for not being pure enough. So she also looked down on the Uchiha clan and didn't want to stay in the Uchiha clan's territory. At this moment, facing Uchiha Ken, Asuka directly chose to break up with him. Chapter 15. The tough mother with a clear distinction between love and hate. What is the youth of a? Asuka actually already knew what happened in the ninja school from Ryujin. She didn't think her son was wrong because the third Hokage didn't punish her son, which proved that Luyun was not wrong. She didn't know why the Great Elder wanted to see Luyun, but Asuka instinctively rejected those people and didn't think that there would be any good thing for them to see Luyun. So Asuka just drove them away without even thinking about it. She didn't even care what the Great Elder wanted to say. Anyway, she had no intention of going back there, and would not let Luyun go back there, so there was no need to care about what others thought. You are very good. I will report what happened here to the Great Elder truthfully. Uchiha Ken laughed in anger, and after saying this, he walked away in shame. He didn't dare to do anything to Asuka because Konoha village has its own laws. Although the Konoha guard has the right to arrest people, they also need sufficient reasons. Otherwise, if the matter gets out of hand, they will be the ones who will be in trouble. In Uchiha Ken's eyes, Asuka is the kind of troublemaker who is not afraid of trouble. If you meet such a person and dare to act recklessly, you will easily get into trouble. Go back. Asuka put her hand on Luyun's shoulder, pushed him home and immediately locked the door. Why are you suddenly not afraid of him, Uchiha Ken? When I met him before, he always acted timidly. Asuka took the initiative to speak. Her son was getting bolder and bolder. She even doubted whether this was her son. Noticing Asuka's suspicious look, Luyun broke out in a cold sweat and gave a half-truthful explanation. In the past, when we were in the tribe, we would see him every time we looked up. We would only avoid him when we had no choice. Now that we have moved, why should I be afraid of him? Asuka was obviously stunned for a moment when she heard this, and after a moment a smile appeared on her face. It seems that the decision to move was the right one. I shouldn't have let you live in that dark place for so long. It made you and me weak and insecure. Anyone can bully and humiliate you. As Asuka spoke, she touched Luyun's head with heartache. The Uchiha clan is very xenophobic. After marrying Uchiha Mori, Asuka suffered a lot and was looked down upon by many. However, this woman has a clear distinction between love and hate. She does not like the Uchiha clan, but she always deeply loves Uchiha Mori. Even at this point, she has never complained that she shouldn't have married into the Uchiha family. She has no regrets about marrying Uchiha Mori. Because it was because of following Uchiha Mori that she became the Uchiha Ryujin of today. It will get better and better. From now on, I will beat up anyone who dares to insult me, and I will kill anyone who dares to bully you. Luyun said what was in his mind, his tone firm and serious. Asuka couldn't help but burst out laughing when these words were spoken. Haha. Don't fight and kill at every turn. Mom just wants you to grow up safely and live happily. Asuka said this and hugged Luyun into her arms. The strong maternal love made him feel suffocated, and Luyun blushed and took the initiative to break free from the embrace. Mom, I'm going to practice first. Go ahead, do your best. Soon, the sound of wooden stakes and sandbags hitting each other could be heard from the courtyard. The clouds can make noise in the morning and at night, but not late at night, because Asuka needs to get up early every day and go to work to earn money to support the family, so she needs enough sleep. After draining off all his excess energy in the courtyard, Luyun took a cold shower and returned to his room. He sat at the desk, quietly watching the few ninjutsu left by his father. Uchiha Mori is just a chunin and doesn't know many ninjutsu. 1 Shadow Clone Jutsu, 2 C-level Fire Release Jutsu, and 1 C-level Illusion Jutsu. Of course, if one counts the 3 body technique and kunai throwing technique, then the number of techniques he knows is not small. Shadow Clone Technique. Luyun formed seals with both hands and used this ninjutsu. With a bang, a clone that looked exactly like him appeared instantly. Simpler than expected. Luyun chuckled. Possessing a strong mental strength, he learns things very quickly, especially illusion techniques. It's a pity that his father Uchiha Mamoru was not proficient in illusion techniques, and he only had 1 small illusion technique left. Should I use my shadow clone to go to class on my behalf? This thought popped up in Luyun's mind. This is what Uchiha Itachi did in the original work. With Luyun's mental strength, there is absolutely no problem in doing this. However, he was afraid that his shadow clone would be discovered and that if he performed too well, it would easily attract people with ulterior motives. In the early stage, you must survive if you can. If possible, Luyun even wants to survive to the end, although this is unlikely. Forget it, let's talk about it later. Luyun put away the scroll, then lay down on the floor and fell into a deep sleep. The next morning, he got up early as usual and went out for a morning run around Konoha. I don't care how far I run, just 200 meters more every day than the day before. After determining the target, Luyun started running with high spirits. When he was sweating profusely and had run half the distance of yesterday, a green-skinned figure that made him feel both familiar and unfamiliar suddenly appeared in his sight. Hey, little brother, you are running again today. That's great. I have never seen a primary school student as diligent as you. The green figure ran over and started a conversation. He had an innocent and friendly smile on his face and looked like someone who was easy to get along with. Green leather jacket, thick eyebrows, watermelon head, and shiny white teeth. Isn't this Emperor Kai, his father? Luyun was surprised in his heart, but his face remained calm. Yeah. Uncle, are you jogging in the morning too? As soon as these words came out, Might Dai stumbled and fell to the ground. Don't call me uncle. I haven't gotten married or had kids yet. Just call me brother. Might Dai smiled awkwardly and wiped the sweat off his forehead. Okay, what's your name, brother? Luyun asked with a smile while running. My name is Mad Dai, you can call me Brother Dai. Mad Dai gave a thumbs up and a very classic, Kai-style, smile. Luyun's 24K Pure Gold 3 Magatama Sharingan was almost blinded by the set of white teeth. My name is Uchiha Luyun, I hope you can give me guidance in the future, Brother Dai. It's actually the child of the Uchiha family. Might Dai was surprised, and he subconsciously looked at Luyun's hair. Luyun's hair color is black with purple, which is very rare in the Uchiha clan. No, it should be said that this is the only case in the entire Konoha. It is neither pure black nor purple, otherwise it would not be called little mixed hair. Brother Luyun, you got up so early, don't you have to go to school today? Mad Dai asked curiously. Yes, after I finish today's target distance, I can go home for dinner, and then I will go to school. Really? You're too ambitious, little brother. Might Dai exclaimed. He felt like he had met his own kind today. It's not that I'm ambitious. I just think that youth should not be wasted in bed. Luyun stopped and pointed at the rising sun, then wiped the sweat from his forehead, letting it drip between his fingers. Did you see that? The sweat flowing under the morning sun is the youth of a true man. Mad Dai was shocked when he heard this. The next moment, he covered his face and choked with sobs. That's very well said. Mad Dai wiped his tears with his arm while talking. He didn't expect that his soulmate was actually an elementary school student. When he thought of this, his tears couldn't stop falling. Chapter 16. War of Words with Uchiha, Kushina, the Grass Protector. A handsome man will always have. They ran very far with Might Dai until they could run no longer, and then they said goodbye to each other reluctantly. My dear little brother, see you tomorrow morning. Then we can continue the romance between real men. Mad Dai gave him another Kai-style smile. Lu Yun didn't know whether to laugh or cry, but he finally nodded. Perhaps I should get in touch with this guy more. Walking on the way home, Lu Yun had a lot of thoughts in his mind. This Might Guy is a master of taijutsu, and Lu Yun wants to see if he can learn some hard fist taijutsu from him. What a damn weather. It's already so hot in the morning. Lu Yun was so hot that he stuck out his tongue. After returning home, he drank several glasses of iced milk and ate a few slices of bread, then picked up his school bag and rushed to the ninja school. This kid has been exhausting himself lately. Can he still attend class properly in this state? Looking at the vague way Lu Yun walked, Asuka's face showed a bit of worry. When he arrived at school, before class time started, Lu Yun was surrounded by a group of elementary school students. Moreover, this group of elementary school students were the ones he hated the most. All of them were Uchiha. Little bastard, you've done Kazuhiko a terrible disservice. We heard the school is going to expel him. Are you happy now? A 6th grade student spoke in a deep voice. Their movements here instantly attracted the attention of many people. The class hasn't officially started yet, but there are a lot of people outside the classroom. In addition, the Uchiha clan likes to form gangs and groups, so they can attract attention wherever they go. Really? Then I'm so happy. There's one less scourge in the school, and one less cancer in Konoha. How can I not be happy? Lu Yun was so angry that he wanted to kill himself. Once these words came out, the anger of all Uchiha disciples was instantly ignited. Asshole, I think you are really looking for death. A friend who was good friends with Uchiha Kazuhiko immediately stepped forward and grabbed Lu Yun by the collar. I advise you not to do anything. Do you also want to be expelled from school? Lu Yun looked at the other person coldly. If possible, he really didn't want to beat up these Uchiha people in front of so many people. Because once he takes action, he will become the focus, and it will be difficult for him not to be noticed by those who are interested. The Uchiha disciple's face changed when he heard that, and he subconsciously loosened his collar. Seeing this scene, Lu Yun couldn't help but shake his head and laugh. In his eyes, the Uchiha around him were just a mob. Idiot! Why are you afraid of him? Do you think he is the principal of the ninja school? Can he expel you just because he wants to? An Uchiha cursed loudly, and the man in front of him woke up instantly. After realizing that he was being fooled, he was so furious that he wanted to attack directly. A loud female voice suddenly rang out, and everyone present subconsciously looked over. The Grass Protector, Uzumaki Kushina, makes a grand appearance. Lu Yun took the opportunity to push away the people who were blocking his way, and then trotted behind Kushina. Nana, these shameless hooligans are trying to bully the weak with their numbers again. You have to stand up for me. Lu Yun complained to the Uchiha group in a grieved manner. That guy, actually. A group of elementary school students were stunned. Lu Yun's behavior was really too unexpected. He was such a tough guy just now, able to debate with many men without any hesitation. How come he suddenly changed from a heroic man to a weakling who only knows how to hide behind a woman? I was saying, that guy was sweating profusely before the fight even started. He looked like a weak chicken and he looked like a girl. How could such a person be a tough guy? A boy muttered. Many boys nodded secretly in agreement when they heard this. Lu Yun was extremely tired after the morning run and didn't even have time to rest. Naturally, he looked weak now. Being called Nana in front of so many people, even if Kushina was not stage frightened, her cheeks couldn't help but turn red. However, she did not blame him at the first time. Instead, she protected the little Shu-kun behind her like an old hen. You bunch of lingering guys, you want to bully people again, right? Kushina glared at the group of Uchiha. You nosy red-haired jerk, this is our Uchiha clan's family affair, why are you, an outsider, interfering? A sixth-year student named Uchiha N cursed. That's right, you outsider, you stinky tomato, what the hell do you have to do with our family affairs? There were also some Uchiha disciples who knew Kushina, and at this moment they only cursed at people in a harsh way. You. Kushina gritted her teeth and her red hair flew wildly in anger, almost turning into a blood-red pepper. Seeing Kushina being scolded harshly, Luyun no longer planned to indulge this group of Uchiha for the time being. Who the hell is your family? Everyone, come and judge for yourself. Have you ever seen someone from your own clan bullying someone from the same clan? As soon as these words were spoken, everyone present was instantly shocked. How shameless. You dare to say it's a family matter. Which member of the same clan would pick on his own family to bully? Ha ha. I told you that the Uchiha clan loves internal fighting the most, but you still don't believe it. They bully their own family members much more cruelly than they bully outsiders. A Hyuga disciple sneered. For a moment, countless students outside were pointing at them. The group of Uchiha disciples all blushed and felt extremely ashamed for a moment. You, Uchiha Luyun, stop spitting blood at me. It was you who caused Kazuhiko to be expelled first. How dare you say that we bullied you? Uchiha Yan blushed and pointed at Luyun. These words awakened the dreamer, and the Uchiha disciples started cursing after they realized what was happening. Yes, you are not worthy of being a member of our clan. The Uchiha clan does not have scum like you. Traitor, traitor to the Uchiha clan. Seeing that the Uchiha clan was indignant, the onlookers didn't dare to say a word for a moment. They all stared at Luyun, wanting to see how this little bastard would explain. I was the one who hurt Uchiha Kazuhiko first. Can you please use your brains before speaking? You, and you. The two people who followed Uchiha Kazuhiko here yesterday, can you tell me why that guy was beaten? Luyun was not in a hurry. He pointed at the two Uchiha and asked loudly. Uchiha Cheni and the other man looked pale and hesitated, not daring to speak. He takes the initiative to pick fights, calls people bastards, and threatens to punish others. Is it too much to be slapped or kicked? I know what happened yesterday. It was Uchiha Kazuhiko who started the fight first and got beaten up. He was not convinced and got others to go to the class to beat up the little bastards. But those people were beaten up by Kushina instead. There was a bystander who witnessed the whole process and he stood up excitedly to administer justice. So that's how it is. The Uchiha clan is so shameless. They have the nerve to say that others harmed people first. Others are scum. I think they are the real scum. Some fearless young men from powerful families took the opportunity to stand up and denounce Uchiha. That's right. I know this guy named Little Zamao. He has a very good temper and has never bullied anyone. Instead, he is always bullied by his own family members. What do you mean by family members? They are just a bunch of Akita dogs that only know how to bully the weak. Haha, Luyun and his people are so unlucky. These people are so cold-blooded that they only pick on their own family members and bully them to death. The onlookers were in an uproar, laughing and criticizing the Uchiha disciples, making all the Uchiha disciples feel ashamed. In a few breaths, they were defeated without a fight and all fled in panic. Seeing this scene, Luyun couldn't help but sigh in his heart. A handsome man will always have the support of others. Chapter 17. Was the little bastard deceived by an outsider? The Nquat, compromise Nquat, in the eyes O. For a while, because of Luyun's incident, the Uchiha clan became a notorious bully in the ninja school. In fact, their reputation is indeed not good. Because the Uchiha clan is powerful and united, no one dares to mess with them in the ninja school. It is no exaggeration to say that they can act sideways. The family is used to being domineering, which naturally leads to some members of the same family becoming arrogant and causing dissatisfaction from others. It is only a matter of time before they incur public outrage. However, this time, the ones who rebelled against the Uchiha clan were not others, but their own clan members with the same surname. This matter quickly sparked heated discussions, bringing shame to the entire Uchiha clan. "That damn bastard, we must teach him a lesson after school," an Uchiha disciple said hatefully. At this moment, a group of Uchiha were hiding in the toilet, and everyone had a very unhappy look on their faces. Forget it. After all, he is still a member of the Uchiha clan, and that matter was also wrong for Kazuhiko, so let's. Uchiha Cheni was interrupted by a loud shout before he could finish his words. "Shut up. That bastard's family has moved out of the clan land. He is no longer one of us. Today he humiliated the Uchiha, and we must teach him a lesson." A clan member named Uchiha Yuta spoke angrily. "If we let him go, then anyone will dare to use this incident to humiliate Uchiha in the future. We must teach him a lesson. This matter has nothing to do with right or wrong." As soon as these words were spoken, many tribesmen nodded in agreement. "Okay, do whatever you want." Uchiha Cheni sighed. He knew that little bastard and they had some friendship. Luyun was usually timid and obedient and was a very nice and honest person. Originally he had no intention of bullying others, but as Luyun himself could no longer tolerate it and rebelled against Uchiha Kazuhiko, things became increasingly worse. That weak and vulnerable little bastard turned into a tough guy who dared to defy everything in the blink of an eye. The Uchiha clan suffered defeat after defeat at his hands. The arrogant Uchiha thought that his dignity was challenged, and he even thought that the little bastard was a traitor to the Uchiha clan. In their understanding, as a member of the Uchiha clan, the little bastard can fight Uchiha Kazuhiko alone in private, but he cannot seek external help. Not only did Luyun seek external help, which led to the escalation of the situation and Heian being expelled from school, but he also shamelessly humiliated them today and openly said that he was not a family member. This sentence was considered a break with the Uchiha clan, so the clan members thought there was no need to consider their identity as fellow clan members, and they still had to block him. It's all that Uzumaki Kushina's fault. That stinky tomato is responsible for too many things. Kazuhiko's expulsion from school is also related to her. A member of the tribe said angrily. I think the little bastard must have been deceived by that Uzumaki Kushina, which led to him becoming what he is now. Think about it carefully. What kind of person was the little bastard before? Uchiha Cheni spoke at this time. He planned to put the blame on Kushina, an outsider, so that the little bastard would not be beaten too hard. Yes. Little Zamao is usually very honest. I was wondering why he suddenly became so stubborn. It must be that damn woman. She must have bewitched little Zamao and made him turn against us. When this was said, many members of the tribe felt that it made sense. An originally good and honest tribesman suddenly became at odds with all of them. They didn't believe that there were no outsiders involved. You're right. After school, let's take care of her as well. Just like that, except for Uchiha Ryun, all the Uchiha in the ninja school reached a consensus. Inside the classroom. Class 501 was in class at this time, but under one of the desks there were balls of paper flying everywhere, making the scene quite lively. Hey, Luyun, can we discuss something? Well, can you please stop calling me Nana in public? I'm so shy. Seeing the note, Luyun almost couldn't help laughing out loud, and he also had the idea of continuing to tease her. You can't shout like that in public, so that means you can shout in private. Seeing this, Kushina's face blushed again. She had been teased by someone a lot in the past few days. Although she was embarrassed, she enjoyed it the whole day. No. Kushina lowered her head and threw out a reply. This doesn't work, and that doesn't work either. So what should I do? It's okay only if I say it's okay. Kushina hesitated for a long time before throwing out these words. Don't you like me calling you that? Luyun tried to suppress his smile and asked the question even though he knew the answer. No. Just don't shout like that in public. Seeing this reply, Luyun turned to Kushina and gave her a smirk that said, I understand. You Your smile is so vulgar. I've never noticed you being so vulgar before. That's because I'm not a slut. You don't care about your dignity anymore, aren't you disgusting? Kushina lay on the table, staring at Luyun with her back to the teacher. The teacher was giving a serious lecture on the stage, while she and Luyun were chatting passionately in secret. For some reason, Kushina always felt that this sneaky behavior was very interesting and exciting. This scene fell into the eyes of a certain yellow-haired man, and he couldn't help but feel a little bitter and jealous in his heart. The two of them were obviously exchanging glances at the moment, and he really wanted to stand up and report to the teacher, exposing these two shameless guys. But when he thought of the consequences of doing so, he stopped his impulse and tried his best to pretend to be a blind man who couldn't see anything. Honestly, I think the Uchiha clan may not give up. After class, don't leave the classroom. Don't be alone. Stay by my side. Kushina wrote a long paragraph. You'll protect me, won't you? Luyun threw the paper ball away, and then stared at her with hope on his face, his big tearful eyes full of emotion. He was not really afraid of those Uchiha brats. If he really wanted to deal with them, it would only take a few minutes. It just seemed unnecessary at the moment. Kushina blushed but glared at him viciously. This shameless guy always asks questions even though he knows the answer, and he wants her to make a statement that is so embarrassing that she will die. What if I can't hold it anymore? For example, if I have to pee urgently. What if they block me in the toilet? You can't go to the men's room with me. Luyun forced himself to suppress his smile and asked the question in a serious tone. Then wait until the last minute before class. Due to time constraints, they won't have enough time to attack you. Kushina had obviously thought of this solution in advance, or perhaps she herself was very experienced in this kind of thing. In the past, she had been blocked by many bad boys. This answer surprised Luyun a little. Thinking of how Kushina protected him, he couldn't bear to tease her anymore. I only heard him lower his voice and whisper softly. Kushina hummed subconsciously, her beautiful big eyes full of confusion. Chapter 18. If you want to enter the system, you must swallow your anger. Luyun takes advantage of tea. Inside the Konoha guard. Great Elder, that bitch Asuka doesn't know what's good for her. I came to visit her in person and even introduced your name, but she wouldn't even let me in. Uchiha Ken was so angry that his face turned red after being treated like this, and he felt extremely disgusted with the Ryayun family in his heart. After listening to Uchiha Ken's accusation, Uchiha Zong was speechless. He just felt that this so-called cousin was such a failure. Under normal circumstances, how could someone be driven away before they could even get through the door? Even if they were strangers, they wouldn't be driven away like this, right? It seems I have found the wrong person. The elder originally thought that the two families were related by blood, so communication would be easier, but it turned out to be counterproductive. Forget it, just go down. Uchiha Zong waved his hands. He was too lazy to listen to Uchiha Jien's complaints anymore. Yes. After Uchiha Ken left, Uchiha Munin turned his attention to Uchiha Do. 2. I went to see the Sandaime Hokage, and he agreed to let Kazuhiko return to school. For the sake of a child, the Uchiha chief elder went to the Hokage building in person to plead with the third Hokage, and Sarutobi Hiruzen had no choice but to give him some face. Politics is all about you give in to me and I give in to you. Politicians rarely fight to the death over someone or something. Every big or small thing can become a political bargaining chip. As long as these things are valuable enough, politicians will not turn a blind eye to them. Thank you for the trouble, great elder. Uchiha Do's eyes turned red and he bowed. The Sandaime Hokage has put forward a condition, that is, Kazuhiko must obtain the forgiveness of the two parties involved, Ryun and Kushina. What? Uchiha Do was stunned at first, then became angry when he realized what was happening. Has the third generation gone mad? My son is the victim. Heian's leg hasn't recovered yet, and he walks with a limp. We didn't ask for an explanation, but the third generation asked my son to apologize to others. Uchiha Zong sighed when he heard this. In fact, the one who actually made this request was not the third Hokage, but Utane Kaharu, one of the two major advisors to the Hokage. That old woman simply wanted to discuss the Uchiha clan, but the third Hokage, whether intentionally or unintentionally, nodded and agreed to her request without even thinking about it. As the weaker party, the Great Elder couldn't say much. After all, Uchiha Kazuhiko was the one at fault. He could only agree to this request with a pinch of his nose. Just consider this as a favor to me, to the third Hokage, and let Kazuhiko admit his mistake. After all, he was the one who started the trouble first. Before Uchiha Do could open his mouth to refute, Uchiha Zong continued to remind him. Kazuhiko must graduate to get the ninja forehead. If he wants to work in the guard team, he must become a Konoha ninja. You don't want Kazuhiko to not be able to be a ninja, or to have to stay in the family forever, right? Hearing this, Uchiha Do lost his temper for a moment. Because of a momentary anger, you can no longer be a civil servant, or enter the system. Even though Uchiha Do was unwilling to accept the defeat, he had to grit his teeth and admit defeat. After all, this matter concerned his son's future and destiny. Ninja School. The day's classes ended with the ringing of the bell, and a large number of elementary school students ran out of the campus happily. You bad guy, you packed your things so quickly, where are you going? Just as Luyun packed his school bag and was about to step out of the classroom, Kushina grabbed his sleeve. Of course I'm going home, where else can I go? Luyun tilted his head with a confused look on his face. HMPH, didn't you tell me last time not to run away after school? Today I will do as you wish. Kushina raised the corners of her mouth in a wicked smile, her eyes full of fighting spirit. She wanted to practice alone with Luyun. I was just joking. Are you scared? Coward. Kushina used provocation. If you say so, then so be it. A good man doesn't fight with a woman. Stop talking nonsense. You made me laugh so loudly that the teacher punished me by making me stand in the corner. Now you don't want to be punished. That's not up to you. Kushina grabbed onto the edge of Luyun's clothes and refused to let go. Are you still being unreasonable? It's obviously because you have a low sense of humor that you were punished by the teacher to stand in the corner, and you also made me suffer the punishment together. Now you still have the nerve to say that I harmed you. Luyun was so angry that his teeth were itching. He wanted to grab that fair and tender arm and bite it hard. I don't care. Anyway, I can't go back on my word. It's still early now. Why don't you fight with me before going home? In fact, she didn't just want to challenge Luyun to a fight today, but she was too embarrassed to say out loud her real purpose. Okay, you asked for this. Don't cry if I hurt you later. Luyun couldn't stand her pestering and had no choice but to agree to her unreasonable request. This girl is itching for trouble. If she gets spanked hard, she will probably behave herself. As the two walked out of the ninja school one after the other, a few suspicious elementary school students peeking around not far away instantly aroused Luyun's vigilance. He frowned subconsciously, but his brows relaxed after a while. Luyun pretended nothing had happened and followed Kushina closely. Can't we fight in the ninja school? Do we have to choose a place to fight? After walking for a while, Luyun couldn't help but ask out of curiosity. He didn't know where Kushina wanted to take him. Stop talking nonsense and just follow me. Kushina was in a good mood and looked very happy. Wait a minute. Luyun spoke again. What happened again? Kushina raised an eyebrow, finally looking a little unhappy. Luyun didn't answer. He quickly walked to a grocery store and took out his pocket money to buy a large one-piece popsicle. For you. Breaking the popsicle apart, he handed the other half to Kushina. Kushina stared at him blankly, and it took her a long time to come back to her senses with a red face. Is it sweet? Luyun asked with a smile, squinting his eyes. Kushina nodded subconsciously while holding the cool popsicle in her mouth. Not only was the popsicle sweet, but her entire heart was sweet at this moment. The smile on her face was so innocent and sweet that Luyun was so fascinated by it that the next moment he plucked up the courage to take her little hand. Kushina was startled and her face blushed. She subconsciously wanted to shake off the other person's hand, but suddenly she heard Luyun's whisper. "Don't move, someone is following us, it's from the Uchiha clan." When Kushina looked up, she found that Luyun had a serious expression on his face, and he signaled her with his eyes to pay attention to the back. Kushina pretended nothing had happened and glanced behind her casually, and found that there was indeed an Uchiha disciple with black hair and black eyes following them. "They probably want to block me, but there are too many people on this road, so they don't dare to show up for the time being. Let's find a secluded place. I'm going to teach them a lesson today." Luyun said this and pulled Bingbing's cool, white and tender little hand, and Kushina instantly dared not resist anymore. In fact, there is no connection between being followed and holding hands. "I spent $2 to buy a big popsicle, so it's not too much to let you touch your little hand, right?" Chapter 19. If you can't win over the other person by reasoning, can you win with fists? Luyun led Kushina to a remote open space with few people, and at this time the group of Uchiha brats also surrounded them. 8 Uchiha in total. These people are all top students in the ninja school, and each of them has a good ranking in each class. "Kushina, please stay aside for a while." Luyun gently pushed her aside. "No, you know my strength, I can help you," Kushina said anxiously. "No need. If I can't beat him later, you can just save me." Luyun looked so confident that for a moment Kushina was a little confused. "Okay. Be careful then." Kushina stepped aside worriedly, her fists clenched tightly and she looked very nervous. "Little bastard, we don't know why you have become like this." Uchiha Cheni spoke first. "But if you are willing to publicly apologize to all the tribe members in the school and sincerely apologize to Kazuhiko, we can still accept you back. Otherwise, what else can we do?" Luyun smiled calmly and continued asking. "Otherwise I will beat you up, every time I see you, until you are scared and submit." Uchiha Yan spoke harshly, he hated the smile on Luyun's face at the moment. Luyun was just about to ask them to come forward, but Cheni spoke again. "You were not like this before. We know that you were bewitched by that stinky woman. If you can recognize your mistakes, I can save you some physical pain." Luyun was stunned when he heard this. He didn't even understand what Uchiha Cheni was talking about, and subconsciously asked. "Which woman? Of course it's her. That stinky tomato." And Uchiha pointed at Kushina. Luyun was obviously stunned when he heard this, and he instantly realized that these Uchiha people were over-imagining. "It's clearly my fault, why are you blaming Kushina? It's clearly Uchiha Kazuhiko's fault, why do you all want me to admit my fault? It was you who were outnumbered and wanted to embarrass me in public. Your false accusation failed and your true colors were exposed, which led to the Uchiha clan's disgrace. Why don't you dare to admit it?" Luyun asked 3 questions in a row, instantly causing all 8 Uchiha disciples to change their expressions. "Asshole, I told you not to talk to him about that bullshit, why not just give him a beating? If he doesn't obey once, just give him a few more times." Uchiha Yuta gritted his teeth and said angrily. They themselves are not reasonable, so how can they answer Luyun's question? Haha, you're really talking to a cow. Since you're so confident in your own strength and think that fists can replace reason, then come on. Luyun hooked his fingers. He didn't expect to be able to reason with this group of arrogant people, so he decided to use his fists to do it. Little bastard, you really don't know your own weight. In the face of Luyun's provocation, Uchiha Yuta was the first to take action. He couldn't help being provoked by a little coward who was usually timid and submissive. Uchiha Yuta took a few steps forward and rushed directly in front of Luyun, raising his fist and punching directly at Luyun's face. Facing the fierce fist, Luyun slightly separated his legs, obviously with no intention of avoiding it. He mobilized the chakra in his body to flow to his arms, and then raised his fist to meet the attack head-on. Bang! The two fists collided with each other, making a dull thud that made everyone present feel numb. Uchiha Yuta retracted his fist and let out a shrill scream. But before he could take a few steps back, Luyun's figure came up like a ghost and hit Uchiha Yuta's jaw with another punch. The screams stopped abruptly, and Uchiha Yuta was knocked flying. A streak of scarlet shot out and landed on the muddy ground, appearing very conspicuous. 2 punches, Ko Uchiha Yuta. In terms of physical fitness alone, Luyun is not as good as Uchiha Yuta, but in terms of chakra control ability, Luyun can crush everyone present. When chakra attaches to a certain part of the body, it can enhance the strength of that part and greatly improve its ability to withstand pressure. When chakra attaches to a weapon, it can also make the weapon sharper and more powerful. This is a training method that only Chunin can access. In the original work, Kakashi passed the chakra control method to 3 genin in advance, which also greatly improved the strength of Naruto, Sasuke and Sakura. These Uchiha people didn't know why Yuta lost. They hadn't awakened the Sharingan, so they couldn't see the changes in the chakra inside and could only see the surface. Everyone was amazed by this result and thought that Luyun defeated Uchiha Yuta by relying on his physical fitness. Luyun's physique appears thin and weak, while Uchiha Yuta's body is tall and strong. The comparison between the two is shocking, and the huge contrast makes people unable to recover for a long time. Seeing them standing there in a daze, Luyun seized the opportunity to attack. He rushed to an Uchiha boy and smashed his handsome face with his Vajra arm. The Uchiha boy was instantly hit by the huge force and spun in the air, then fell heavily to the ground. So strong. Kushina couldn't help but take a breath. Luyun's strength and speed were impeccable. She didn't expect that this little classmate was so hidden. He showed his prowess right after the fight began, beating 2 people down in succession. Don't just stand there, come on together. Uchiha Yan shouted loudly, and his words instantly woke up the 6 people who were shocked. How dare the 6 of them be so arrogant? If they don't unite and rush forward, they will probably fall into the hands of this little bastard today. Luyun's eyes were full of fighting spirit, and he was able to remain calm in the face of 6 Uchiha who were rushing towards him. These people were all unarmed. After the incident with Uchiha Kazuhiko, the Uchiha disciples no longer dared to use knives recklessly. The school has tightened its control over hidden weapons, and the Uchiha disciples have been sternly warned by their teachers and parents that, apart from routine training, they must not use kunai or shuriken to harm their classmates. Luyun controlled the chakra in his body to flow to his limbs and bones. At this moment, if one had the Byakugan or the Sharingan, one would be able to see that the blue energy in his body was flowing at an astonishing speed. Each of his punches and kicks contained incredible power. Uchiha Yan, who was fighting against him, was forced to retreat again and again, with his hands and feet feeling painful and numb. When his companion took over the fight with Luyun, he hurriedly retreated, taking the opportunity to withdraw from the battle and gasping for breath. He took a closer look at his hands and feet, and found that his arms and calves were red and swollen. The slightest pressure caused him to gasp in pain. Seeing that Luyun was able to gain the upper hand even when surrounded by 6 people, Kushina was excited but also breathed a sigh of relief. Luyun, my godfather, beat these bad guys who are lingering around to death. Kushina raised her pink little fist high and shouted at the top of her lungs to cheer for her little classmate. Chapter 20. 2 people join hands to beat up Uchiha, and the cold Lord Orochimaru suddenly appears. The 6 Uchiha warriors cooperated with each other to fight against one person. Luyun could still have the upper hand at first, but he soon realized what 2 fists cannot defeat 12 kicks meant. These people are all children of the Uchiha clan. Their boxing and kicking skills are much stronger than those of ordinary people. Luyun cannot defeat them alone without getting hurt. This is under the premise that they did not dare to use hidden weapons or even ninjutsu. In the chaotic fight, despite his excellent eyesight and reaction ability, he was inevitably hit by punches and kicks several times. However, these attacks had little effect on him. Luyun still had a lot of chakra in his body at the moment, so it was no problem for him to withstand the punches and kicks of the children. Facing an attack from both sides, Luyun took a kick from the back and, seizing the right moment, punched a certain Uchiha boy hard in the abdomen. The acid in the man's stomach was knocked out, and the whole person was blown away by the huge force. Luyun was kicked from behind and staggered. He adjusted his body as quickly as possible and immediately turned his head, narrowly avoiding the fist from behind. Luyun, let me help you. Seeing her little classmate being beaten several times, Kushina finally couldn't control her temper and joined the fight. Luyun was afraid that she would get hurt, and wanted to ask her not to come, but he saw another person jump high and kick Luyun's head fiercely with a whip-like kick. It was too late for him to speak now. Luyun's eyes narrowed, and with the help of his terrifying eyesight, he instantly saw through the other party's actions. He raised his arm and instead of retreating, he moved forward, then raised his elbow and hit the opponent's calf hard. This blow was unforgettable. The whip-legged young man's face turned red and his eyes widened to the point where they almost popped out of their sockets. What? He opened his mouth and let out a heart-wrenching scream, then fell to the ground holding his calf. This brutal head-on collision caused a slight crack in his shin bone, and the pain was so severe that he was unable to take part in the rest of the fight. 4 of the 8 Uchiha had been defeated, and Kushina chose Uchiha Chie. Luyun was now facing only 3 enemies. One of them saw that the situation was unfavorable and became nervous. He couldn't let go of his hands in the fight at all. Luyun took the opportunity to kick him to the ground. After knocking down another person, Luyun targeted Uchiha Yan, and the 2 of them engaged in another fierce collision. Uchiha Yan is very powerful and his physical skills are also quite good. Luyun was unable to defeat him immediately. However, not much chakra was consumed in his body, and he still had half of his physical strength. It was only a matter of time to defeat Uchiha Yan. Wait, I don't want to fight anymore. After a fierce fight of fists and feet, Uchiha Yan finally couldn't bear the pain in his hands and feet, and waved his hands repeatedly to signal Luyun to stop fighting. At this time, his naked limbs were red and swollen. In terms of injuries, they were no less serious than those of his tribesmen who were wailing on the ground. Humph! You don't want to fight. That's wishful thinking. Luyun snorted coldly but continued his attack. A minute later, Uchiha Yan was kicked to the ground and could no longer maintain his cool image, screaming continuously. On Kushina's side, Uchiha Chie was no match for Blood Red Pepper in a one-on-one fight. He was soon knocked to the ground, and Kushina stretched out her big feet and stomped on him repeatedly. The last remaining Uchiha saw that things were going badly. His hands and feet were in great pain. He instantly lost the will to fight and ran away, screaming in fear as he ran. Luyun quickly chased after him and kicked him hard in the back. The man fell face first onto the ground, tears streaming down his face from the pain. Luyun glanced at the Uchiha who were wailing on the ground, and if he saw who was in better condition, he would immediately go up and give them a few more punches and kicks. Let you bastards bully Luyun. You Uchiha are the most arrogant in the whole school. Don't you like to act cool all the time? I'll beat you to death. At this time, Kushina was also addicted to killing. She beat him and scolded him at the same time, and before she knew it, she even scolded Luyun. The 2 men attacked one after another, beating the 8 elementary school students so hard that they ran away in panic. Even though they were covered in wounds at the moment, in order to avoid being beaten further, the 8 people could only endure the pain and quickly escape. Soon there were only a man and a woman left in this remote open space. Ha ha. Luyun, you are so awesome. I didn't expect you to be so strong. Kushina laughed and praised repeatedly. She enjoyed the fight very much. She never thought that one day she would be able to beat up the Uchiha clan. This group of people are truly school bullies. Snapped, snapped, snapped. Just as the 2 were talking and laughing, the continuous applause instantly alerted them. What a wonderful battle. I didn't expect that there is such a powerful student in the ninja school. One person can beat 7 Uchiha. A feminine man with a hoarse voice, a tall and thin figure, and snake-like eyes walked over slowly. He clapped as he spoke, and his eyes were full of admiration and curiosity when he looked at Luyun. This guy is Orochimaru. Luyun was surprised. He didn't expect that the other party had watched the entire battle. Luyun's mind was on the group of Uchiha brats, and he didn't immediately notice Orochimaru hiding in the dark. Thinking of this, he couldn't help but break out in a cold sweat on his back. Lord Orochimaru. Why are you here? Kushina exclaimed in surprise. It was obvious that she knew the other person. Although the three ninjas of Konoha at this time had not yet been named by Hanzo of the Salamander, they still had a very high reputation in the village. Since Kushina was temporarily living in the Senju clan's territory and had a good relationship with Tsunade, she had naturally met Orochimaru and Jiraiya many times. Oh my god, idiot. Lu Yun first read out Orochimaru's name, then realized that the other party was a Jonin, and he quickly added the honorific name, like Kushina did. Orochimaru didn't find it surprising that Lu Yun recognized him, because the Sannin often followed the Hokage, so there were few people in Konoha who didn't know him. The corners of Orochimaru's mouth twitched slightly, and his snake-like pupils stared at Lu Yun. This, sir, sounded strange. Orochimaru felt that something was wrong, but he couldn't figure out what the problem was. Your accent is a bit strange. Lu Yun said in his heart. Chinese accent, but he showed a puzzled expression on his face. Kushina, it's almost dark, why don't you go home? Mito-sama should be waiting for you to come home. Orochimaru smiled warmly at Kushina. The snakes at this time are not yet poisonous, and they treat people with humility and courtesy, quite like gentlemen, which makes people unconsciously develop a good impression of them. At this time, he was highly trusted and respected by the third Hokage, and even Jiraiya and Tsunade could not compare to him. Ah, yes, I'll be back soon. Kushina looked up at the setting sun. She knew it was getting late and Grandma Mito should indeed be anxious. Lu Yun, Lord Orochimaru, I will leave first. Kushina looked at Lu Yun with a slightly blushing face, and then waved goodbye to the two of them. Okay, go ahead. I want to go home too. Lu Yun smiled. The two looked at Kushina's departing back, but neither of them left immediately. May I have your name? Master Orochimaru, my name is Uchiha Ryun. Lu Yun bowed his head, trying his best not to look at Orochimaru's cold snake eyes.